Welcome back to Optus. You can see the two teams, the Blues in the foreground. Robbo knows this ground so well. Ian Robertson, three-time premiership player with the Blues. Welcome, Robbo.
Thanks, Bruce. Yeah, looking forward to this game of football. I think the Blues, they've struggled a little bit, but without the tall players, isn't it? It seems pretty obvious, but gee, if they need some sort of an incentive, it's slipping down away from the top four. I think you've got to be in the top four at the end of the home and away, and that's going to be the incentive for them.
We talked about Tony Modra at the start of the game. John Longmuir kicked over 500 goals, and so did Richard Osborne in his great career. He's down on the ground. What were your thoughts about Mods, Richard?
Yeah, I'd just like to reiterate what you were saying, Bruce, about him. You know, maybe remembered for a few indiscretions off the field, but he was a football god in Adelaide when he was playing for the Crows. He was an excitement machine, and I just wish him well in retirement, because to me he was one of the most exciting players in the last 10 years. So it's a shame he's out of the game, but you know, it passes us all, so I wish him well. But today's game, Bruce, as everyone said, it is an important game for Carlton. With 2 losses, they need to stay in touch with the top 4. For Fremantle, very competitive last week against the Bulldogs, so they just need to keep building on the form that they've showed the last few weeks, boys.
Good on you, Richard. It's a good day for footy, no doubt about that. So the Blues are going to the left of screen. So Silvani looks like, John, he's going to start forward.
Yeah, Silvani forward and Kuta forward as well.
And Simon Beaumont in his 100th game. Houghton on the ball, as you'd expect. Hasn't missed a game. There's Silvani. So Jones picks him up. Beaumont's played 81 consecutive games in that 100. So it's been a terrific effort. And he's grown in stature. So Dockers to the right, Blues to the left here. Not a big crowd. You wouldn't expect it today. Probably around about 15,000. But the Blues faithful, they'll have plenty of support. Koutafidis, who looks like he might have started at centre-half forward. Fletcher, no free kick there. Mansfield over the top of him, and Hickmott the ball up.
And Bruce, yes, you're right. Koutafidis started centre-half forward, being picked up by the youngster Matthew Pavlich. So a big job for Matthew this afternoon.
So Pavlich down back, going with Kuta. We saw Neats run with Koutafidis last week here. And the Blues have lost 3 games at Optus this year, which is a record they wouldn't be proud of. And the Dockers all over the top of the footy, getting another ball up.
Sean McManus also running with Scott Camporelli. Scott Camporelli starting on the half-back line for Carlton, so a big job also for Sean McManus.
Hume on the interchange, interesting for the Blues, along with Merrington. Franchina starts on the interchange. And also Simon Wiggins. Houghton taken to ground. Gee, it's a scrappy start to this game. First real kick by Camporelli to half forward. Houlihan front spot. Just away at the back by the Dockers. Came from Wirra. Ball comes out to Bradley. Good tackle on Bradley. McPhee there. Comes out. Left foot inboard by the Blues by Fletcher. Houlihan front spot. Almost. Still not paid. Wirra over the top, and it'll be a ball up.
Yeah, he did everything right then, Houlihan. He got his hands to the ball, and just at the last second probably just lapsed a little bit of concentration, because he did everything right, played in the front spot, and just didn't hold it to the ground.
So the bounce of the ball about 40 metres from the Carlton goal. Plunkett gets back unattended in the goal square, but it's brilliantly roved by Ratton. First goal of the match, kicked by Brett Ratton for Carlton. Classical stuff there by Ratton. And, gee, Plunkett was in position, but Ratton made an absolute Monty of it.
Yes, Plunkett really made the most of that. He went forward, and it just wasn't needed in the end. Brett Ratton, one of the best players in the competition, and a great bit of ruck work as well, and it found him running forward. There's been some question marks about the Carlton side with their ruck work today, but already we see Brett Ratton make the most of his opportunity in the forward line.
That's Troy Cook there for Fremantle, starting on the interchange bench. He, along with Kickett and the 2 Longmuir boys. So giving away a little bit of height with Justin Longmuir prepared to start on the bench for Fremantle. Congestion quite near the centre bounce area, and it will be bounced once again. Our umpires are Matthew James, Stephen Hanley and David Howlett. Already mentioned by Bruce McAvaney that we've got ideal conditions for football, and I would think that you'd get plenty of scoring at both ends. And it's kicked away there by Mansfield towards half forward. Ratton was there, but Plunkett also to rove and kick to the square. Silvani, Lappin has tried to crumb it. They're outnumbered 3-1. Wirra gets it away to Black. In turn, Jones. Jones's kick is good, and the mark is taken by McPhee for Fremantle.
It was a good kick. He got the angle just right. So McPhee at half back debuted against the Swans, and has been a promising player for them. So is this bloke at the back, Heath Black. She's run a fair way. Now he stopped and just steadied up and gone inboard to Parker. So the Dockers slow out of defence here. Giving Carlton a chance to get back. He stores the target, got him. So he uses the run of Wirra. Wirra's kick a bit up and under. McManus the target. Camperelli's running with him off half-back. Taken by Hickmott. Uses Rice. Rice, terrific to see him back. Good kick, finds Kutafides. Uses a run of Houlihan. He's at centre wing. Neat kick inboard to Lappin. So Lappin back to Houlihan. Houlihan's got Mackay if he wants him. May go, does now, finds him at about 49. He may go to Lappin here. No, decides not to. Parker just closed it. Goal square vacant. Mackay knows it. Great kick inboard. Going. Can Christo get it? No. Came all the way up from fullback and just dribbled off his feet and through for a behind.
Yes, good running by Ange. Christo is playing fullback on Daniel Bandy, so he really saw the chance to run forward, and the ball just didn't bounce correctly for him, and Ange probably should have made a bit better fist of that, but just an unlucky bounce.
Carlton have done the scoring, 1-1-7. The goal kicker was Ratton. Black a couple of possessions in that passage, back towards the half-back area. Well done, Plunkett. Kept his position quite nicely on the ground. Kicked away for Freo, back towards the wing. Taken here by Hazelby, gets the ball to Carr. Carr's neat little left foot kick is all right. Fletcher is on the end of it. He ducks back onto his right, kicks in towards the half forward area. Walker straightens up, kicks towards the full forward area. Now Shell gets the hand pass away. Chance for Eastall, well tackled by Mansfield. Mansfield coming from the right. Now what's happened here?
Holding the ball.
Well, that's just unbelievable, John, isn't it?
He didn't have much of a chance. A good tackle by Mickey Mansfield, but a pretty tough decision holding the ball. Should have been play on.
Exactly. Gee whiz, I thought that was what it was all about. The tackler forces the ball free. Anyway, we'll get on with the game and we'll watch Scott Freeborn just try to make a little bit of a mess of it. Bradley doesn't mess around. The kick into the centre, and it was made good by Ratton. Quickly to Hickmott. Hickmott out wide, and the Blues are controlling the ball. Fletcher is marked between wing and right half forward.
They look much sharper than the Dockers, so that's not such a good kick, and Walker cuts it off at half back. So Carlton doing most of the attacking. The Dockers have only been into their 50 on the one occasion. McManus wide, playing very indirect early. Here's Pavlich, he's got Kutafides. Real learning experience for him. Kick to centre wing, not bad. Carr's been okay for them this year. Played every game but one. Like I reckon all the other former St players, he must have been scratching his head a bit this week. Kick to centre wing. Hickmott in the front spot. Did well to Lappin. So Lappin playing pretty deep. That's a clever handball to Bradley. Back to Hickmott. Hickmott getting plenty of it at the moment. Waits the kick to Silvani against Jones. Silvani front spot. Jones doing okay. Wins it cleverly. Silvani's a good fighter though. Mackay and Silvani to worry him to Lappin. Lappin on the left. Looks okay in the run. It's a real chance. Going through for a goal.
Gee, Silvani was terrific, Bruce. Silvani was sensational. I thought the first time Johnny was out of position, but his second effort enormous.
Well, that's the value of Steve Silvani. Not only can he take a good mark, a good contested mark, you just watch him here. His second effort was enormous. He got back up on his feet, went back, picked the ball up, made a contest, and he keeps the ball in the forward line. And that's the key to it, Steve Silvani being in that forward 50. He just keeps the ball in and creates opportunities for those smaller players around him to kick goals. And, of course, well done, Matty Lappin, kicked his first goal for the game.
Former Channel 7 commentator Ross Glendinning helping Ben Allen in the coach's box for Fremantle. And they'll have to get a bit of a wriggle on, you would think, because the Blues have done all the scoring. Freeborn's kick towards half forward. It's vacant there. Silvani gathers. Oh, the hand pass. Sensational. Ratton on the end of it. Third goal of the Blues. Second to Ratton. The handling of the football. Well, it was just fantastic passage of play there by the Blues.
Well, it was almost like a training drill, that, Robbo. There was a contest in the middle of the ground. Plunkett gets the handball out whilst sitting down on the ground, and they just kept pushing the ball forward. And once again, we talked about the last goal, Steve Silvani. That was super quick hands by Silvani. He was on the wrong side, and good running by Ratton. Pushed forward. He's being picked up by Paul Hazelby, and that just shows you the value of winning it out of the centre and getting it forward to a Steve Silvani.
Well, it's a desperate start for the Dockers, isn't it? They look non-competitive at the moment. Blues have them at their mercy, and we've been playing just a few minutes of footy. Just controlling at Carlton. Silvani's move up forward is a good one, and the running players are feeding off him so effectively in the early stages.
Bruce, I thought Justin Longmuir was pretty competitive early last week against Luke Darcy, so I thought maybe he might be a better option than Ruck at this stage.
Well, he's on the interchange, and he's still doing it. Good hands by Koutafidis to McKay. They love Silvani in these one-out situations of Blues, and he's taken a good mark. He was fantastic late against Melbourne last week. One of the big questions, I reckon, in footy at the moment is, does Stephen Silvani and Craig Bradley continue to play with the Blues next year?
Oh, why not, Bruce?
I'm with you.
They're both in sensational form. I'll be playing them, no worries.
So Silvani kicks straight for a goal. You had a wry smile then, Robbo, a former great Blue yourself. You reckon they might go on?
Well, I think there's no doubt that Stephen Silvani will play, and Craig Bradley, he doesn't seem to have lost any mobility whatsoever. He gets around the ground all right. He seems to be able to still read the play excellently, and I would say that the way football's played, there's certainly a place for him in the lineup. Don't forget, Silvani started as a youngster in the forward line. Well, very quickly, John, Justin Longmuir is on the ground.
Straight into the ruck, Robbo.
And I, along with Richard Osborne, were a little bemused, actually, because I think he's a tremendous talent. But obviously, from their point of view, the picking of the team is important. This is McPhee going for Fremantle's first score. Off that left boot, he hooked the kick too far and missed everything. So the free kick to the Blues, and it will come out to Plunkett. In turn, he shares it with Christou. Christou goes in the direction of Houghton. The kick was probably a little bit too fierce there. Fletcher, oh, was that clever? At the back was Houlihan. The reading of the play was terrific. Houlihan in towards Silvani. Can't take the mark. Jones, has he been paid? Yes, he has. He goes back, gives away plenty of ground. Back to Parker. Parker in front of the goals at which he is defending. Goes back to Jones. So you can see statistics really are very difficult to follow, aren't they? Well done, Houlihan. The interception there on Wirra was first class, and he forces a boundary throw in.
Well, the Dockers so far just seem intent on switching the play. Every time they get the ball in their defensive 50, they try and switch the play. But the problem is the Dockers forwards aren't pushing across and creating a contest, so that's proven to be a real worry at the moment.
Looks like Kickett, is it, that's preparing maybe to come onto the ground as well for the Dockers. This is Lappin for the Blues. He's got Plunkett, and Plunkett, he's started pretty well also. This is his fourth possession. And he goes towards the goal square. Back there is Mansfield, going back with the flight of the ball. The ball spills. The Blues are onto it. It's Beaumont in his 100th game, and they've got 5.
Well, it doesn't look good at the moment for the Fremantle Dockers. Plunkett, who's been picking up Fletcher in a tagging role, getting plenty of the footy so far, and their defenders, I mean, Simon Beaumont's playing across the half-back line, running down and getting in on the act. Everyone seems to be getting on the act at the moment for Carlton, so not a good start for the Fremantle Dockers, and the Blues just look to be rolling along easily at the present time.
Interesting, Peter Bell out of the centre square for most of the first quarter here.
Yeah, he's getting picked up by Craig Bradley. Craig Bradley running with him, but Peter Bell in the forward line.
So 5 goals to 0. We saw Richmond kick the biggest first quarter score of the season last night at 9-1. I reckon it's under threat at the moment. Carlton having a very, very bright start here against the Dockers, who look rather hapless.
And Robbo just said that was Dale Kicker warming up. He is now on the ground replacing Robert Hadrell.
Well, you got the chance, Richard. There was an announcement by the Blues, the black armbands. I think you picked that up, didn't you? It was something to do with Trent Houghton, wasn't it?
Yeah, one of my old teammates at Collingwood, Trent Houghton. That's sad news. His mother, Liz, passed away last Sunday, so I'm sure it's going to be a tough day for Trent and the Houghton family.
Silvani on the end of that, and this is a chance, Silvani. He might have just hooked it, and he has. So history's repeated itself here. Carlton 5-2 to Fremantle, no score. Now, last week at Colonial, the Bulldogs kicked 5-2 in the first 12 minutes of play before the Dockers scored. Now, we know the Dockers came back pretty well, and that's exactly what Carlton have done today. And Houlihan's going to make it 6. Well, look, John, how low can you go?
Last question.
Well, I mean, Houlihan at the moment, he's just added a little bit of class. He and Lappin in the forward line, combined with Silvani, have just been the big difference so far. But you've just got to really ask a question about the Fremantle Dockers at the moment. They just look terrible, and you'd hope they try and provide a contest, because otherwise it could be a sad and sorry day here at Optus Oval.
Well, 6-2-38, Fremantle yet to score. And Brett Ratten has kicked 2 of Carlton's 6 goals. Well, talk about a special day for playing footy. It's a special day for the Blues. 6-2-38, they lead Fremantle yet to score. Ratten threw his left boot at it, couldn't make contact. Plunkett is there again, he's having a day out. Gets the hand pass to Hickmott. They seem to have players in support, which is very important. They've got 2 or 3 around the ball. This kick from Fletcher, and Silvani is giving Jones some sort of a runaround down there at full forward. The football coming in too quick for a defender, John.
It is, and they've got to try and get some numbers behind the footy, because as it stands now, Steve Silvani's got too much room to move. They're getting beaten around the packs up the ground. Steve Silvani can lead where he wants.
He's kicking from 40 metres. He's kicking from 40, and he's kicking a behind that has hit the post. 1-2 to Stephen Silvani. Koutafidis has had 3 hand passes, and Lappin 5 possessions. Ratten 5, Silvani 5, Houlihan 5 kicks. Houlihan, I believe, has got terrific raps on him from a skills point of view, and he's certainly showing it here in the early part of this match. Fletcher has marked the kick in, and the football is at left half back for Fremantle.
Comes in board to McPhee. Just can't quite hold it now. Suddenly the Blues have got 5 players around him. Ratten, Plunkett has been busy early. Left foot to full forward. Silvani at the back of Pavlich, so a move might have been made there. Pavlich onto Silvani. Lappin held up by Kickett. Back to Pavlich. The kick out wide, so Jones has been released onto Koutafidis. Not much of a release, is it? Kouta running hard at the footy. Will he take Wira on? Decides not to. Puts it up to McKay. And McPhee was able to belt the ball over the line.
Yeah, you're right there, Bruce. That move, although it just seems to be for the time being, they just got caught out of position, so they're swapping back now. Jones goes back onto Silvani and Pavlich back onto Kouta, so that was just for a moment while they got caught out of position.
So the Blues having a big first quarter, as you just saw there, against the Dockers, and the ball out of play again. Just a reminder about our website, i7sport.com.au, for all the details of this match, plus the other game of the MCG. You'll get it all there tonight, and a couple of other games on this evening.
Gee, if they keep going, they'll slaughter that first quarter record that they had achieved against Fremantle of 5-7. They've kicked 6 goals 3. There's still 9.5 minutes left in the term. It could easily be a 10-goal term for the Blues. The ball is right on their forward 50-metre line, boundary throw in, and doing the ruck work there was Eastor. Trying to break away was Mansfield. Koutafidis will kick a goal, won't he? This is just too easy. This is ridiculously easy for Carlton. Koutafidis has kicked a goal, and their preparedness to share the football around. It's one thing to give a handball, John, but it's also the biggest thing is to provide the target.
Yes, and also lay the tackles too, Robbo. Mansfield just strolled through too easy. I think it was Hazelby then just broke through a really easy tackle, and they're just handballing around. What they need to do is make sure there's a competitive effort at every stoppage, and on that particular occasion there wasn't, and already we've seen Fletcher taken off the ground after an ordinary start.
Well, Ben Allen must be just wondering with Ross Glendinning here. This is a dreadful start, 7-3 to 0. But as Robbo said, it's just so easy. I haven't seen a game like this for years. I can't remember ever seeing one like it start like this. It's like a training drill at the moment. The Dockers are just desperate. Well, they should be. And somebody hurt's badly hurt there, getting up a bit slowly.
Yeah, they're waving quickly to his teammates to indicate to the bench that the first aid people should get out there pretty quickly.
So Dockers in attack, and they haven't been there too often. It's as if they're kicking uphill into an 8-goal breeze. McKay, Beaumont, bounces, charges away, scrappy old kick, gives Silvani the run of it. Little give fantastic to Mansfield. How many times have they done this in the first quarter? Mansfield runs too far, I reckon.
Did.
It's a goal.
Gee, you'd like to measure that.
Well, another one. Silvani's little gives, I think 3 goals have come from that. It's just a little game plan they've got going at the moment. Just kick it to Silvani and he'll give it to you as you run past.
And the amount of confidence that the Carlton players have got. I mean, Beaumont probably shouldn't have taken a bounce then, but took the bounce, went forward, and it's just like a training drill. There's just Carlton players lining up everywhere to get a position.
16 paces,
Yeah.
Bruce, he took. Are you allowed to do that now, are you?
I don't think so.
Inside 50s, 14-3. So the very few times that the Dockers have got it forward, they've managed to score.
Gee, the key is what you said before, John, about the space that Stephen Silvani is being allowed.
It's too easy for it at the moment.
Houghton just being competitive at the centre bounce, and then they get the ball at ground level. They've got some terrific in and unders. The number one exponent of that is Brett Ratton, and probably one of the great exponents of the in and under caper in the competition, Brett Ratton. And he, along with his fellow midfielders, Plunkett has been terrific. He's had 6 possessions. Houghton doing the ruck work again, and it might feed out again. Plunkett on the end of it, left foot kick towards half forward, and getting back to take the marker's kick it. That's 50 metres.
Yeah.
No need to do that, Michael, because that was what it was brought in for in the first place, from my memory.
Yeah, and they just need to be careful of a couple of little things. Carlton are finding it so easy at the moment. They just don't take the pedal off the accelerator because the foot off the accelerator, because it's been just too easy for them at the moment. The Dockers just no pressure anywhere in the ground.
Kick it in towards Shell, but the punch from Manton was just absolutely perfect. Houlihan is able to gather, then gets the hand pass back to Ratton. Ratton's kick is in the direction of and finds Mansfield. Gee, it was a good mark. Did he hurt himself when he hit the ground?
It didn't look good.
Legs seemed to bend underneath him, didn't
Yeah,
they?
he did. Mickey Mansfield, he takes a very good strong mark for his size, and he just landed very awkwardly, and his legs seem to buckle, as we see here, just underneath him. He landed on. We've seen some bad injuries out of that, Mick Mansfield, but he gets up, he's okay. He's had 4 possessions so far in the game.
Delivers the ball in the direction of Koutafidis, but getting back is Longmuir for Fremantle. Takes the mark and then delivers the hand pass to Carr. Carr straightens and then kicks in towards half forward. Marking contest. The ball spills to the back. Beaumont couldn't take it. Christou is there to help out. And at ground level, Ugle, number 41 for Fremantle. And the umpire will bounce. It's not quite up to centre half forward. It's about 56 metres from the Fremantle goal. They are yet to score. We have 7 minutes left in the term, so it's well and truly past the 20-minute mark of the term. Carlton 8-3 lead Fremantle, yet to score.
Wayne Britton having a chat to Michael Mansfield. Here's Walker. So Walker to fall forward. The Blues again with all the numbers. Fletcher just pings it off. He'll use Hickmott out wide and he'll have a paddock. Wiggins is short for him if he wants him, and then Silvani provides the longer lead. Houghton coming from the ground, so change there. Merrington probably to come on. Silvani's got it at centre wing. What a first quarter he's played. The stats won't show you how important he's been. Now Merrington's on the ground. He may get involved here. McKay looks sideways. Doesn't need to, I guess. Goes inboard. Fletcher about 50 metres out. Good left foot to the front of the square. Koutafidis almost took a couple on and runs Pavlich out for a boundary throw.
Well, he was nowhere near that contest, Anthony Koutafidis. He was 1 on 2, but it actually turned out at the end he could have taken a pretty easy chest mark, so he just used his body so well.
Carlton keeping that forward line open even in this situation. Koutafidis, Longmuir did well, and then Pavlich squeezes a kick out. Merrington and McPhee at the back. McKay comes back to Fletcher, back inboard. Christou about 70 metres from goal, loads it up, not a good kick, and Bell should take the mark. Just wasted that one a bit, and Bell's got it. So the last 2 or 3 times they've gone forward, they've been a bit sloppy, the Blues. Mansfield's kick found the opposition. Fletcher's kick not so good in the end, and that one was ordinary.
Carr has marked the football away from Hickmott. The best first term this year was 9 goals won, kicked by the Tigers last night. The Blues so far 8 goals 3-51. Fremantle, we repeat, have yet to score. A short kick by Kickett, taken by Walker. Kick is a little ordinary. McManus back onto the left, slips over and could be quite critical. Bandy forced to kick quickly. Bandy will score. And there'll be some ironical cheers and jeers and what have you here at Optus Oval, one would think, because deep into the first term, Fremantle have got their first score on the board, and there aren't too many Freo fans here today, plenty of Blues fans, and they're not happy with that, but only 1 behind against 51. They already trail by 50 points. Bradley accepts the kick in from Camporelli. That's got to be some sort of a sign, doesn't it, John? It was nothing really, was it?
Nah, it's just try and push over the other side of the ground, but when they're doing what they want, the Carlton side now.
Manton, and this is Christou. Gee, I admire Ange Christou. I'm sure that during his injury-plagued 2 or 3 seasons, he must have thought he was never going to play football again, and he's out there playing for his beloved Blues. Hickmott kicks the ball out wide, and well done Houlihan. He guarded the player in Merrington, but Merrington wasn't quite able to take the mark. Longmuir able to get it to Pavlich. McManus, now Pavlich. Ratton the tackler. Ball spills to Ratton's immediate opponent, Hazelby. And there are Pavlich and Ratton. having a little to-do behind play. The boundary umpire will throw it in just forward of centre wing, favouring Fremantle. The Blues lead by 50 points. It's been a demolition so far. Koutafidis couldn't take it. Pavlich could. Kick it, confronted by Rice. Koutafidis can't get the hand pass away. Little Ugle was all right there, and Kickett took the hand pass and found the teammate in McPhee. McPhee too far out to score, 60 metres from goal. Fremantle in possession of the ball.
There's Carlton defenders everywhere. They've just pushed back behind the footy. He hasn't got any options.
Well, there's probably 31 players in the Fremantle forward half of the ground. Now there's 32 as Carr. Make it 33 as Lappin. There's only 3 the other side of the centre. Parker's 1. Silvani and Jones look like the other 2, but the football is with Wirra. Wirra going for goal. He'll get the ball all the way to the square, and it's punched away. The Blues' defence is that lousy that they won't even concede a behind from that marking contest in the goal square, and it'll be thrown in right forward pocket for Freo.
Houghton on the bench, started well here. So the Dockers attacking. Houlihan, great skills as Robbo talked about. Beautifully played Houlihan. Finds Koutafidis. It is half pace for a lot of the Blues today. Houlihan gets it from Plunkett and takes the mark at centre wing. 7th kick coming up for Houlihan. Looking for Beaumont, working hard down the ground, kick it, and now they've over the top Fletch. He's not lapping inside, just fell over at the wrong time, and they've wasted a chance here, the Blues. It's been a while since they kicked the goal. Sounds ridiculous, I know, but I reckon 5 or 6 minutes at least. Cook, awkward looking kick, wants McPhee out wide. McKay, good mark McPhee. He's shown a bit in the opening term, as he has in his limited career to date. This will be his 6th kick coming up. And again, at about 60 metres from goal.
Drew Bradley lucky there, wasn't he?
He wasn't
run in front of the
Peter
player.
Bell almost pushed him in front of McPhee there.
So Pavlich has got back deep, but Cooter's with him. Torpedo, not bad. He's spiralled it to the goal square, getting back Merrington. He's held it. Well, they'll be watching his development closely, won't they, the Blues? He'll be one of the real keys to this game. Houlihan out wide. Hickmott takes the mark in the back pocket. Called to play on. And then chips away. And Plunkett having a good first term. 9th possession coming up at half-back.
Plunkett turns and delivers out wide. McKay couldn't take the mark. The ball spills to the back where Lappin provides a contest. Parker confronted by Koutafidis and McKay. And Parker going nowhere, so the umpire will bounce.
And we talk about Plunkett, we spoke about him before the game, but he's had a pretty good season, Plunkett. He's started on Fletcher today, and Fletcher was taken off the ground about the 15-minute mark of the first quarter, so he's getting plenty of the footy and shutting his opponent out at the same time.
Plunkett again. McKay had the awareness to see and deliver to Hickmott. Christou over the top. Gee, I cannot believe that you slip over so much in modern football. Camporelli, watch this. Watch this for delivery by Camporelli. Well, I thought he'd kick a goal, but he didn't. He just lobbed it up for Silvani to mark. The angle will be the greatest area of concern for Stephen Silvani. He's already kicked 1. And I think the umpire there just a little generous. He'll kick his 2nd. And the Blues have got their 9th. They create the best first term this year.
Good hands by Simon Wiggins, but and a good bit of play by the Carlton side then. But what they're doing, they're pushing back in the defensive half, blocking up, and that just means that when they go forward, the Carlton forward line is just so open. And when you've got Camporelli running through the midfield, driving the ball long to a one-on-one situation with Steve Silvani, doesn't give Jones much hope at all. But Steve Silvani just really having the better of that duel with Anthony Jones at the moment, sheer weight of numbers.
So as Robbo said, best first quarter by any team this year at 9-3. Richmond 9-1 last night. So Longmuir beating Merrington. Bradley is going to give a handball to Mansfield. Decided against it and decides to go long. And Silvani and Koutafidis to come hard at Pavlich. Free kick, I think, at the back. And the advantage is given to the Dockers. So they come from half-back through Black to Cook. Cook down the line. McManus the target. Camporelli running hard. Free kick McManus against Camporelli.
Now they need to get the ball in quickly here because the Carlton players are just pushing back and blocking up space. We saw McPhee a couple of times before have trouble kicking the ball to a target, and once again Carlton are just pushing back, flooding the defence.
So McManus between centre wing and half forward. Just had to go sideways so often in this opening term.
Just doesn't know where to go. There's no targets.
So very wide and pretty short to Carr. And again, he's confronted with the same problem.
They can do two things. They can go long and just hope for a contest, or they can go short to someone who can kick 50 metres.
Well, he's kicked to the hot spot at centre half forward, but the Blues have got such numbers back there. Rice decided to take a couple on McKay with strength. Manton held up by Cook, but the Blues are working hard here. They haven't got it out yet. Houlihan hasn't given up the footage. He did well. Mansell's little tap was important. Cook's contest was good. This is a bit better. No free kick to Parker, maybe a bit stiff. Bell, haven't hardly seen him in the opening term. Plunkett was terrific on him. Thrown away by Hazelby to kick it. Kicker's kicked the centre half forward. McHale like this at the back, belts away to Bradley. Can they get another goal? 10 seconds remaining. They need a mark. McKay wide. I think the time might beat them. Camporelli, he must kick to Silvani now. He's going to go to Ratton. Ratton's got it. No. Siren goes, and that's it.
That was the most exciting thing, Bruce. Whether the Blues were going to retain possession and kick a goal in the last 3 or 4 seconds of the quarter.
Be careful, Robert, we've got 3 quarters to go. And there are a lot of people in Perth that are back there watching this match, and don't you dare go away. But at quarter time, it's 9-3 to a point. Can you think of something positive to say about the Dockers?
No, not one at the moment, Bruce. They've been beaten all over the ground. They've hardly got a winner on the ground at the moment, and Carlton have just been too good.
So that's the situation. Ben Allen, what would be running through his mind? At quarter time, Carlton have been terrific. They're 9-3 and the Dockers a single point. Ben Allen, you just wonder, don't you? 7th game in, we worked with him earlier in the year, John, and he had a terrific attitude towards life. I just wonder, he's in the wine game. I reckon he'd be enjoying a big bottle when he goes home after a match.
Well, it's just been frustrating. They haven't won anywhere, and I mean, there's not a lot he can do except just plead to try and make a contest around the ground.
Ozzy, I haven't left you out, mate, but boy, what a first quarter. It's been a long time since we've seen one like that.
It was a pretty lacklustre affair, wasn't it, Bruce? Maybe the players were on the wine last night, who knows, but pretty ordinary effort, I'd say. I remember Ben Allen a couple of weeks ago questioning the commitment of some of his players. I wonder what he's thinking now. I think they just have to see that scoreboard at 9 goals 3 to 1 point and just totally forget about it. They're not going to win this game. They just have to go at every contest like it's a new contest and just have a go. You know, it's a pretty basic thing in football. Accountability, just man up and start from there, boys.
Not a bad way to start. Thanks, Ozzy.
Can he actually plead with them to man up? Does that help at all?
Just make a contest, Robbo. That's all you can try and do at the moment. Just try and make a contest and get things back. Try and win the quarter.
Well, Hazelby, Cook and Bella in the centre square, so they've got some ball winners there. Both ruckman missed it. Plunkett having a terrific match. Just wonder how long he'll be able to be selected. He's a rookie, off the rookie list. Fletcher, the ball came back from Wirra. Bradley's been busy. Freeborn, with him Walker. Little handball by Black, okay to Bell. Bell's really got to get busy here and get some possessions. Parker's out wide, and Cook's handball almost cut off. Back to Wirra. So you can see there's some intent there early. They're trying to work for one another. Walker down the ground. Ugle again at centre wing. High ball to half forward. Mansfield at the back shell. Good mark, McKay coming across and taking a safe mark. What a player McKay's been. Back to Ratton.
If they want someone to show that you just keep your head down and your backside up, it'll be Andrew McKay, because no matter what the scoreboard says, you get 100% effort from that player. And Hickmott just delivers quite nicely. Plunkett is providing the targets. Beaumont ran past in support, accepted the hand pass, kicked into the forward pocket area. Silvani, Bell, now Carr for Fremantle. He runs across the full back line. He's got no one really to kick to. He's nearly going to have to cough it up. Now he goes in the direction of Brown, and supporting him there was Black. Goes after it again close to the boundary line, and Christou was there just to provide a little bit of heat. Black taking the ball over for a boundary throw-in.
We talk about possessions. That first quarter, Robbo, possessions 103 to Carlton, 69 to the Dockers. So they're just thrashing them with winger footy.
And it was the pressure that was non-existent from a Fremantle point of view that made all those possessions quite handy from Carlton's point of view. The ball is back towards the middle. Hickmott gets another one. Lappin, but in chips McPhee. McPhee's handball finds Cook. Cook has Walker running in support. Bell receiving the hand pass and then kicks it straight to the opposition.
Well, they're looking up the ground. They're handballing to a player with his back to the play, so he's got to turn around. So therefore, the forwards up the ground are getting caught out of position at the moment.
Well, Camporelli decided to use Christou, and on his own is Bradley. Well, you wonder, don't you?
He's got a paddle.
How does he get on his own? He's got plenty of time to assess kicks the ball in towards full forward, and the mark is taken by Longmuir. That's Justin Longmuir. That's his third mark. He's had 6 hand passes and been credited with 4 hit-outs so far and 3 tackles. So you'd have to say his effort has been good. Hazelby kicks the ball into the back pocket area. Pavlich gathers and then kicks it out wide. Chance here for Jones. He'd love this. Where's Stephen Silvani? He was giving him a headache earlier in the game. Kicked it short and Mansfield marks. Plays on. Camporelli should have been tackled. Dispossessed by his own teammate in Houghton. McKay. Plunkett. Anyone playing on Plunkett? He's got the plague, he's got leprosy, he's got everything. No one wants to go anywhere near him. And Silvani outmarks his opponent in the left forward pocket about 40 metres from goal.
Well, they'll probably have to start making a move there. One, Plunkett's getting too much of the footy, but also Jones getting well beaten by Stephen Silvani. So they need to make a move there probably. Plunkett has had 9 kicks and 5 handballs, so he's been sensational.
Silvani has kicked 2 goals too. From deep in the pocket, he'll get the distance. No, it's punched away right on the goal line. It was knocked away, was it? No, it may have been credited with a behind. It has been. Goal umpire indicating that the ball had crossed the line, and the score will stand. A behind for Carlton. That's their 4th. They're 9-4, 58, leading Freo. Yet to kick a goal, but they've managed a behind. They've got the ball on centre wing through Wirra.
To McPhee, who's had a lot of stats, done reasonably well, but just their delivery. Bandy, we haven't seen him yet at half forward. He's had a kick in that first quarter, goes short to Wirra.
Plunkett's just been playing on Cook, and now that's his 2nd notch in the belt. Cook being taken off the ground to add to his first one the first quarter, Fletcher. So well done, Plunkett.
2 blokes have won the best and fairest in the last couple of years. McPhee's rode this well and kicked the goal. Well done. Well, he has been all right, hasn't he? Adam McPhee, he's 18 years of age. He's the youngest player out there, John.
Yes, and he started very well. He's had a pretty good season when he broke back into the senior lineup, so he's done well today, playing on one of the true champions in the game in Andrew McKay as well. So he's got a bit of the footy, went well the first quarter and started well this second quarter, and they just hope to get a bit more types of attack on the footy like he's been developing or showing so far this game.
Well done there by Adam McPhee. He roved the marking contest about 30 metres out from the Fremantle goal and kicked their first goal for the match. Beaumont not able to get onto it. Just a little overzealous there in his efforts on the football. It'll allow Fremantle in for another chance through Bandy, but he's off to the right and kicks a behind.
Carlton have got to be a little bit careful. They a couple of sloppy attacks on the footy, and it just tends to spread around the whole player. So they just got that tap out of the centre a little bit too easily then, the Dockers.
Camporelli. Now there's another example of maybe just a little of it creeping in. Well done by Daniel Schell, because you would have thought maybe that Camporelli could have ducked and weaved his way out of that, but Daniel Schell kept his eye on the body and tackled him very nicely.
Well, they've been better. It's only the 6-minute mark, but the Dockers have started a little bit better in the second quarter.
Gee, a whole lot better, I reckon, John. It's just whether they can sustain it at all. Beaumont's kick, Houlihan's taken the mark, uses McKay's run. So McPhee doing really well on McKay, but McKay's still important. Not such a good kick. Silvani tried to turn on Jones, but the kick fell short. Jones to Black. Black's delivery very good to Pavlich wide. So Pavlich working down the ground. He's about 65 metres from goal. Called to play on. You can hear the umpire. Kicks to centre half for Brown, who we haven't called. Good mark, Carr. Well, didn't quite hold it in the end. Houlihan comes away to Lappin, and that's a clever mark in the centre of the ground. Looks up. Silvani leads through now. Hickmott was short, and not such a good kick again. So the Blues are just struggling a bit here. Black to Hazelby, and Hazelby to Pavlich.
It was also the fact that he kicked it to a 1-on-3, and the one was Ratton. He was completely outnumbered, that kick coming in from Matthew Lappin. Good mark taken by Dean Rice across the half-back line. He can go to Mansfield. He decides to use Christou. Christou's handball. Koutafidis. Where's Ange? I think that's what he said. Then he decided to go further forward to Houlihan. Houlihan will use Christou. Great understanding. I'm just an absolute rap for the player who provides the target for the hand pass. And on this occasion, it was Christou who did a lot of running and then delivered. Just again too straightforwardly to a player in Silvani, who had enough space and took an easy mark.
And Houlihan started so well. He's had 13 possessions, and every time he gets the footy, he uses it so well. But we saw Cooter on the half-back line just have too much time to make a decision. He stood there and waited what seemed to be an eternity.
Silvani decides to pass the ball, and it was meant for Lappin, but he's beaten for it by Parker. Parker out to the wing. McPhee, who's already had 8 kicks and 1 hand pass, looked for the second hand pass of this match, decided to kick in towards the half-forward area, and running back with the flight of the ball, he had a little bit of a look to see that he had a bit of space, was McManus, and he's marked about 40 metres out directly in front.
They got the ball down quickly, and whilst there was a number of Carlton players there, they didn't have enough time to get in the right spot, and that was the key. They rebounded from half-back, got the ball down quickly, and Sean McManus took a reasonably courageous mark backing back.
So McManus, who is the captain of this Fremantle side with Adrian Fletcher, his kick is very ordinary. He's missed everything. Just striving maybe for a distance that he thought was testing for himself.
I see Ross Glendenning not happy with that kick. He's really scratching his head.
It went out of bounds on the full, and Beaumont took the free kick. Gee, there's confidence, isn't it? Houghton, wider still to Rice. Rice has got Fletcher. Fletcher's got an absolute acre. He can use Houlihan. He does, out wide. Gee, he's very impressive, isn't he, Houlihan, off the left. And Silvani, if he wasn't paid the mark, it certainly would have been a free kick. Houlihan quickly gets the ball back to him, and Silvani looks to pass off again. It's going to work. Ratton very, very efficient. He's going to kick to a goal square that is, well, it is man. No, it's not. It should have been. He picked it up and he kicked the goal. Ratton has now kicked 3 goals and playing, one would think at this stage, in a forward pocket.
Yes, that's right, Robbo. He started in the centre of the ground, matched up against Paul Hasleby, and for this whole quarter he's moved forward and he's been matched out against Hasleby in the goal square. And then Silvani has played so well today. He just used the ball so well, kicking the ball into the forward line to a leading target, and they made the most of it. So once again, too much space in the Carlton forward line.
Blues bench. So Ratton's 3rd goal is his 100th in league footy. So it's only in the last couple of years he's become a real goal kicker midfielder. He's a very dour player earlier in his career, but almost a complete footballer now. And the Blues get their 10th, so they're back on some sort of track, though. Still the Dockers press forward. Walker to McManus. Not a good handball. He would have been better off to kick there. The handball always was going to be a contest. Rice tries to get it out. McPhee again. Koutafidis takes a couple on Fletcher to Christou. Bandy almost had it. Comes back to Shell. Terrific tackle, Manton. Shell just a bit slow to get off the mark. Off the ground, Ugle, is it? And geez, missed a lot from there. He must have hooked that really well.
Well, they had a real chance then, and he connected well with the ball, but it just hit the wrong end of the ball and went straight across the front of goal.
Yeah, that would have been hard to do, John, from there.
It would have been very tough.
McKay's kick out wide, free ball, but the Dockers are getting numbers around the footy at the moment. Carlton kicking to a lot of one-on-ones and twos, and a ball up. So it's the Blues 10-4 and Fremantle 1-2. Let's see how Ugle manages this. We've got a good view from here. The ball comes out, John.
Yeah, he just... that's what he's there for, to try and make something out of nothing, but connected well, but unfortunately just went straight across goal.
That's making nothing out of something, isn't it?
It would have been an absolute miracle if he'd have been able to slot that through. Just an absolute conglomeration of arms and legs there. And eventually the Dockers get the ball in the area of Bandy. His hand pass a little overzealous again. Back goes Houlihan. And Christou puts his body in. Houlihan dispossessed. Well done there by Robert Hadrill it was that knocked it clear, and eventually Brown kicked it through for a behind. So Lee Brown becomes a scorer, which in this scoreline of 1-3 is worth a mention. The kick in is okay, and Houlihan, close to ground level, was able to get his hands underneath it and scoop it in. Just a little too easy the way he just loped away there. Fletcher dispossessed, goes back at the second effort, tried to get the ball to Beaumont. Beaumont providing a contest. Bandy, a little flip out with the left. Black is there, got it back to Bandy. Bandy got past Ratton. Bandy just threw it onto his boot. It's a wobbly old punt kick, and Camporelli has taken a chest mark in that full back line for the Blues. Looking to play on. Now he's got enough space to get a beautiful kick to Hickmott. He uses Rice. He's going to get run down, but in the meantime, he was able to squeeze a kick out to Houghton. Houghton has got Silvani on a lead, and he honours that lead, and Silvani has marked 45 metres out directly in front. He'll go to Hickmott. Hickmott in short. Can't take the mark. Good defensive work provided by Carr. In there is Jones. Jones goes very wide, and it'll bounce just inside and then over for a boundary throw in. 64 the Blues, Fremantle 9.
Well, that would have been heartbreaking for the Dockers if they'd have the Carlton had kicked the goal out of that, because they had the ball in the forward line, and perhaps another indication of the Blues just being a little bit cute. Steve Silvani probably should have gone back. The goal square was open and had a shot for goal.
He's going to give full forwards a bad name, Silvani, if he keeps passing off, John, isn't he?
He is.
He's done it a few times in this quarter.
Not known for passing off, Bruce, the full forwards.
Just a reminder about i7sport.com.au. So much sport happening around the world this weekend. The Ashes and also all the footy and the big golf on. So just check your internet site for all the latest. Free kick, I think, to Plunkett.
Yeah, held when he didn't have it. I think in anticipation of him taking possession of the ball. There's 50 metres.
That's so
that was just that from a responsible player.
Well, you don't need that, and I mean, you're right, Robbo. There's too much experience there with Fletcher, and just a sign of his frustration.
Peter Bell.
It was Peter Bell, sorry. A sign of Peter Bell's frustration. I mean, Plunkett is getting enough kicks at the moment without getting really handed on a plate like that, and he's going back to have a shot for goal around 40 metres out.
Gee, these kangaroo players stick up for themselves. He's wanting to blame Fletcher.
I was blaming someone else, poor old Belly.
Well, he's not having a good one, poor old Billy, but it hasn't been a good year, full stop. He certainly tries his hard out. Well, Plunkett, this is a top off a super first half. This is his 10th kick. Kicking from about 40 metres out. Is it coming back? No, it's a behind. Always that side. So Carlton, 10 goals, 5, and the Dockers are 1-3.
There's just a goal each to both sides in this term. The Blues opening with 9 goals, 3 to a behind.
Well, they've stepped out of the goal square, Robbo.
Well, this just is inexcusable, isn't it, surely?
Yes, it's Heath Black just stepping over the goal line, kicking out. And as we can see the replay here, oh, it's tough.
Boot on the line?
Boot on the line. If you're going to make a mistake, it's better off making a mistake at the front of the goal square instead of the side, so at least the umpire can't see it.
Yeah, fair point. Well, in doing so, the umpire has taken control and will bounce. Oh, gee, Houlihan was in a great position to gather. Just a little too high there for him. And it's rushed over for a behind to the Blues. So they go marching on, not in any convincing fashion, not just like the first term. The kick went in the area of Koutafidis. There still might be a chance to gather. Fletcher's hand pass, gee, was dumped unceremoniously after he delivered the hand pass to Walker, and Fletcher will take the free kick. Goes short. This is Jones running down the ground and kicking the ball in towards full forward. Is that a push out? Fairly blatant. And Christou will take the free kick. Brown just a little bemused, but it looked as if it was a free kick from here anyway. And he goes to his good friend in Koutafidis. He in turn to Fletcher. I wonder if Fletcher changed his boots at quarter time, because he slipped over a couple of times in the first quarter. Franchina with the football. He had a spell early in the match on the bench, and Camporelli marks. He wasn't worried, was he? And he hooks the kick in towards the half-forward area, but in short, and the mark, well, it's Black now on the end of the hand pass. Fletcher caught with the ball but able to get the hand pass away was Black. So was Bandy caught. Gee, it's a terrific team effort by the Blues. Camporelli, now that's the little fancy stuff that you were talking about, John, isn't it? Where you probably get a little bit carried away, but Mansfield's not getting carried away, and Mickey Mansfield has kicked the behind.
And that was started by Brett Ratton's chase, a fantastic chase by Brett Ratton. When you've got Ratton and also Silvani in the forward line, you know you're going to get a contest, and he really chased that down. Mickey Mansfield probably should have made them a little bit more of that. He had Hickmott on his right-hand side that was free, but probably should have made more of that kick for goal.
So just a bit inaccurate here, the Blues. 10-7 after 9-3 at quarter time. Pavlich again to himself. Now he's got Cook over the top, and he'll go there. He drew Houlihan to him. Cook to Fletcher. So they've done pretty well here. They've worked it to half-back. Fletcher 3 kicks, 3 handballs. So just last couple of minutes been working back into the game. Comes to Black. So now the Dockers finding a bit of space. Black forced to go back a long way. He's had a fair bit of a sloppy footy, isn't it? To Pavlich, to Black. Silvani will still chase. Black wide, not a good kick, gives Hickmott a chance. He had to deliver, so he gave him no hope. Carr held on to just momentarily. Umpire probably right decision. Lappin, not a lot of pressure on him, works around, kicks back towards centre half forward to Houlihan. Now he's got Fletcher on his own in the goal square. Now he goes to him and finds him.
Gee, the cohesiveness, Biff, Lappin and Houlihan is great, isn't it?
He's got a really good understanding
Yeah,
of
they have,
both
John,
of them, and both of those players have got exquisite skills, and when they just know, they just turn around and they just know where one another are, and they've just used one another a number of times during this game already, and their kicking into the forward line has just been a treat to watch.
We're right behind Fletcher. The kick looks good. He's got it. So an 11th goal.
I don't know whether football's changed that much, Bruce, since I was playing, as far as manning up and making it difficult for a bloke who's about to get the ball or who has got the ball. Now, here, he's got too much time to deliver. He does it beautifully, and so does Houlihan when he gets the ball, and so does Plunkett. But there's no pressure. There's no physical pressure.
At least try and hold them up in the
Exactly,
mark. You can't hold them up for too long, but hold them up, push the absolute letter of the law. Put your hand up, hassle them, make sure it gives your defenders a chance to pick up.
Well, there's Michael Mansfield on the bench, and just looks a little distressed, but I'm sure in this demolition job that the Blues are delivering here, he'd want to be back out there on the ground. A chance to clear, but it's broken down because Pavlich gathered nicely and then kicked in towards half forward. A contest. Hickmott, well done, gathered. Rice out to the advantage of, and gee, get on the ground and you'll get a kick. This is young Wiggins for the Blues, coming from Glenorchy in Tasmania. Gee, they've had some great footballers from Glenorchy, and it might be here that Wiggins might be able to make a name for himself in the Blues lineup. That's a free kick to Houlihan. Was he held? What's that going for the football there? Houlihan, 12 kicks, 4 hand passes, 6 marks, a goal. The ball in the forward pocket. Hume, was that off his boot? No. Boundary umpire decides that right in front of the social club, and it's full of Carlton fans. Hume, who's been on the bench. Of course, you'd have to expect that, the game here at Optus Oval, Fremantle from Western Australia, not that many fans here in Melbourne, and certainly dominated by Carlton fans at the ground today.
Robbo, Ryan Houlihan has had 17 possessions so far in this game, the 20-minute mark of the second quarter. He's being picked up by Robert Hadrill in the second quarter, but he's just marching on his merry way.
So in the right forward pocket for Carlton, Ratton can't get the hand pass clear of the congestion, and tackled quite conclusively there. McManus on Camporelli, is it, at the bottom of the pack, and the umpire will bounce. 73 plays 9, 5 3/4 minutes left in the first half.
So Ben Allen looking on, and would be happy with this quarter, but still far from pleased with what's gone on. Hickmott's kicked the centre half forward. Oh, good fly by Fletcher. Well done by Hadrill. Down low, squeezing it out at the back. It was Longmuir, and mark taken by Beaumont in his 100th game. Kicked a goal in the opening term. He's got Merrington wide, and he uses him. So Merrington able to just chip to Hickmott. Got him at about 55 metres. He'll need a short one away, or a longer, maybe Silvani. Couple of leads coming. Bradley provided one. He kicks to centre half forward. Kudafiti's a chance. Well done by Longmuir, though. Punched it away and then marked it. He's a promising player. Gives it to Jones. And now the Dockers have got a chance to attack. Brown has been pretty quiet.
Merrington on his own. When they go forward, they're outnumbering the Blues.
Cook. So a kick by Brown, just not hitting the target. And Cook over the line for a boundary throw-in.
Aussie just can't pick up Jimmy Plunkett at the moment. He's had 15 possessions of the game. He's on the interchange bench.
Yes, he is at the moment, Johnny. He's been very good in this first half. He's just having a little rest at the moment.
Just saw 40's had 10 kicks.
Gee, Darren Hume, who probably replaced him, you reckon he'd be hungry for the ball? He's been sitting there and watching all this going on, thinking, boy, let me out there. Kuda and Pavlich still in play. Franchina sort of scooped it up. Houlihan caught up, and not too often a Docker been able to put a tackle on him today. and again a ball up. So
that was a little similar to when Robert Harvey hurt his knee in Perth, where he was stood up and there were 3 players tackled him and then eventually wrenched him to the ground, and in doing so, his knee buckled underneath him. I was just watching Houlihan there, similar circumstance.
gee, Carlton fans are really pleased you mentioned that, Robbo.
Kudafidi's trying to break away. Merrington is there, so accepts the hand pass, goes in towards half forward, and Hickmott has had a terrific quarter. He's had 14 possessions. Now he gives the hand pass away to Ratton, but the umpires decided to ask Adrian Hickmott to come back and go more over the man on the mark at half forward. Now he kicks into an area where the lead was provided. Silvani couldn't mark it. McKay loves to break a tackle, couldn't quite get the hand pass back. Black was there, and he went for the safety of the boundary line, and it'll be thrown in front of the Social Club here at Optus Oval. McPhee, the tackler, and he's done a fairly good job. He's the only goal kicker for Fremantle right now, and he's also had 10 possessions. Big punch by Longmuir, close to the line. Lappin may get it. No, can't quite. 73 plays 9. So what Fremantle have done is that they've just dried up the scoring a little. The Blues have only kicked 2 goals to 1 in this term. Carlton, an avalanche in the first term, and an avalanche that didn't have any resistance whatsoever. 9 goals to nothing in the first term.
Now this is a lot better from that point of view. Cook forced now to touch it on the ground. He got himself into trouble. Ratton back to Kudafidis. He's just growing as this game goes on to Silvani, who's getting midfield stats at full forward. Little short pass, a good one to Lappin, and it finds him.
Well, you feel sorry for Troy Cook. He was trying to make play, trying to get it to someone who was in a better position, but sometimes you're just better off banging the ball forward, and I mean, that was just disappointing.
So Lappin, a goal in the opening term. He's the leading goal scorer for the Blues this year. Scored going into this match 26 goals. He's kicked goals in 14 of the 15 games he's played so far, so he's been pretty consistent. Kicked poorly last week against Melbourne, 2-5 I think. That's a good kick, so he's got a second goal today. And they march on the Blues. 12-7 to 1-3. Silvani, have a look at this, John.
Yeah.
Playing a full forward. 10 kicks, 10 marks, and 3 handballs.
Yeah, he's been very good, and he's really provided a target down there, and they still persisted with Anthony Jones on him. Jones has made a couple of good spoils, but Silvani's had a fair bit of space to work in up forward, and that's been the difference. He's been able to run, lead, and take the mark with that beautiful possession football that the Carlton are using from the centre of the ground.
Well, I'm sure those 3 players there, all when they played football at senior level, were responsible and prepared to run and pick up a man. And I just see the Fremantle players not prepared to do that. Here's another chance. They'll get another goal here, won't they? Bradley, no. Wiggins tried to bring him into the play. Silvani, back to Bradley. Bradley trying to just control the football. Got his boot to it in the finish. And guess what? Yes, there's a Carlton player on the end of it. It's Hume. Now Ratton. Ratton's kick is good. And Lappin will mark 50 metres from goal. You would think it just might test him, wouldn't you? In the months July and August, the football doesn't seem to go quite as far through the air. He decides to go short, and it might be all right. Hume from Merrington. Hume still gives the hand pass away. Out wide is Rice. Rice's kick has been well marked by Parker for Fremantle on the full back line. Short kick is okay, and Ugle, a long way down from the full forward line that we've seen him playing on in the first quarter and most of this term. That's Black. Black has had a fair bit of the football. 17 possessions to Heath Black. Bell's handball all right. Fletcher. Hume is there. And Bell over the top, appealing for a free kick, but you wouldn't think that Darren Hume had much chance of getting that ball moving. So Peter Bell left lamenting as the umpire decides on a bounce.
In round 10 this year, Carlton led West Coast at half-time 13-7 to 1-5. At the moment it's 12-7 to 1-3. Perth viewers must love these games. They won by 119 points on that occasion, which is the biggest margin this year. So such a similar contest at the moment.
I think I was here for that game too, Bruce. I'm lucky, aren't I?
Out wide. Here's Hadrill, just his second game. Kicked the half forward. Bandy at the front, Beaumont at the back. The Blues to mop up though. Good attack on the footy there by the youngster in
McKay.
McKay getting back now. The Dockers inside. Bandy, can they get a second goal right on the half-time siren? Brown with a bit of strength comes out the front way, unfortunately for him. Camporelli mopping up. Slow kick to Houlihan, put him under the pump. Camporelli's delivery today not quite so good. McPhee probably the best player for the Dockers. Bangs it back. Can Ugle do something? McKay front spot was steady. Fletcher. Beaumont wobbles it. Good kick in the end because he had to try and get some distance. Hickmott did well against, that's Adrian Fletcher. And then a good little give inside to Hickmott. Not long remaining. Can they get a late goal, the Blues?
Space everywhere, Bruce.
Bradley, can he use it? Waiting for Silvani. Hickmott may be the go. He goes to him now. He's still outside his range as the clock winds itself down. Running hard is Hume. He has to turn back. Not a good kick. The Blues are going to be stuck on this score, I reckon, now, as the Dockers through Carr go towards the line. That's it. 12-7 to 1-3 at half-time. So a 70-point margin. And to Fremantle's credit, they certainly made a lot more contests in that term than they did in the first.
Yes, it was. And look, they wouldn't be too disappointed with that second quarter effort, the Fremantle Dockers. They were a lot more competitive than the first quarter. But perhaps you've got to put a little bit down to Carlton being a little bit tricky and using the ball too much in that second term as well.
So we just wonder what might happen in the second half. Silvani will be tired, all right. He's had 10 marks and 10 kicks and 4 handballs. So at half-time here, the Blues have set themselves up to get some percentage and a huge win. They lead by 70 points over the Dockers. It's 12-7 to 1-3.
McKay starting the second half on the bench too for the Blues.
It's a good effort by McPhee.
12-7-1-3, start of the second half here at Optus, with Carlton having a huge opening term, kicking to the left of screen. Houghton to go against Longmuir. So they started with Eastdale, but Longmuir has been far more competitive. Lappin's hands were good to Ratton, being held on to Beaumont, surely. Umpire on the wrong side there, couldn't see it. And Brown down back on Silvani. So there's a major move. Kicks towards the line and a boundary throw in.
And as we can see, Beaumont here, who has just gone forward at the start of this second half, and Koutafidis has gone back to centre half back.
Just talking to Gary Lyon at half-time, one of the great players of this caper, and he nominated that's exactly what he would do, is put Brown on Silvani and say, get your backside kicked by a star, and you might learn something about what this caper's all about, modern-day AFL football.
So McKay, Freeborn, Merrington and Hume. Brown had a quiet first half. He's a really promising player, but he's one of those players with his body size. He doesn't look fit, and when he's not on song, you're quick to criticise, I reckon. Plunkett's kicked to centre half forward, finds Beaumont. So Beaumont in his 100th game, said at the start of the game, his last 81 consecutively. Good kick to Lappin and marks unattended, basically. Is it a goal? No, it'll come back, I think. And Lappin will be paid the mark. Time on called. So Lappin with a couple. Could be looking at a bag today. In fact, they've spread them pretty evenly, John, haven't they?
Yes, they have, Bruce. There's been plenty of goal kickers today. There's been 8 goal kickers, so they've really shared it around.
Lappin from the pocket. Gee, I reckon he's missed.
He has.
It's an awful attempt. He has got a few kinks in his kicking for goal occasionally, and that's a bad miss. So 12-8 to 1-3, 80 plays 9.
What do you do there, John? Do you just try and guide it through, or do you think you can try to kick it a little bit too hard?
Well, maybe you can even try to run around the left, but he maybe tried to kick it a bit too hard, but it's always a fine line between trying a banana kick or run around on your left foot kick.
Well, the footballers with Longmuir on centre wing. He looked a little confused as to what he was going to try and do there. Plunkett, gee, you'll get a game next week, sharing it with Bradley. Bradley able to find some space and then kick in the direction of Silvani. Silvani not able to take the mark. Brown back there now with Parker. Their defence is under enormous pressure. Well done, Brown. He spotted a player. It was Kickett. Kickett goes short, and Black has taken the mark. He plays on quickly over the top to Fletcher. Fletcher looking, but there's no one really to kick to. There is in the end, and he puts it on the chest of McManus, not able to take the mark. Bell was there. McPhee sharing it quite well. In the finish, Cook to McManus again. Awful looking kick to the forward line. The forward sitting underneath that wouldn't be enjoying it too much. Ugal's hand pass was a little errant. Manton there to tidy up for the Blues, and that kick is okay to Rice. Rice goes to Plunkett. Plunkett is treating this game with contempt. His short kick, not taken by Camporelli. Chipping in there was Cook. Black dispossessed. In came Ugal. Ugal was the player in the first place, and his kick in, the kick in forward was marked by Manton. 80 plays 9. Christou out wide. Fletcher. Fletcher's got Beaumont on a long lead. He kicks in that direction, and Beaumont takes the mark. He's got Houlihan, but that could nearly be 50 because I think Brown could see that if Beaumont got back quickly, Houlihan was loose further down the ground. In the direction of Silvani. Gee, strong, isn't he?
Oh, well, I mean, he's just had a real battle down there at full forward. He's just won all the one-on-one contests.
Kick for Lapham, not able to gather. Jones could. Uses Black. Black to Walker. Franchina. Fletcher for the Fremantle Dockers. Releases Bell. Bell with just his second kick. He's had 10 hand passes, and well done Longmuir. Too tall there for Rice.
Taken 7 marks, Longmuir. Into Carr. First goal, real battle here between the two teams to get this opening goal. Out wide. This is to Troy Longmuir. He's kicked to centre half forward. Chance, McPhee. Boy, I am impressed with this bloke. 18 years of age, and takes the mark.
Yes, and he has been good, and to have a all-Australian defender and Andrew McKay sitting on the interchange bench, and Adam McPhee's had 10 kicks, 2 handballs and 6 marks, so he's provided a real target for him.
And probably most importantly, John, he's kicked their only goal and looks a real chance to kick a second. So they may win the battle for this opening goal of the second half, the Dockers. McPhee's kick looks good off the boot. It's a goal. Well, he's a bit of all right, this bloke. He's someone to work about with the future, isn't he?
I think that what is really good about that young fellow is his body language, John, isn't it? I mean, you know, even when the ball is perhaps not quite in his area, it looks as if he's interested in playing this game.
Well, he has a real go, and if he makes a mistake, well, so be it. He doesn't seem to worry about it too much. He gets on with the next effort, and he's been terrific today for the Dockers, probably their best player.
So Fremantle kicked the first goal of the second half, and the margin 65 points in favour of Carlton. A little high, was it? The tackle by Carr on Hickmott. And not quite back to the centre half back area. Hickmott looking to play on. The umpire's just giving him a little talking to. Now he's allowed to play on. Out wide, Houghton, who has been asked to do the ruck work. He's kicking towards the half-forward area, taken here by Beaumont, the 100-gamer, and didn't get any hook at all on that kick. It lands inside the field of play, gathered by Lapham. He can probably get around. No, he'll use Beaumont, and Beaumont will go in and kick the goal. Very good play by the Blues. Beaumont kicks his second goal. I say good play because there wasn't a lot of area to move in here, and Lapham did very nicely.
Well, Beaumont kicked the ball up, and well done, Steve Silvani. Went to go the mark, and the ball just spilled back into the centre of the ground, and that's what allowed Matty Lapham to pick the ball up so well. He showed his skills to perfection then, and Beaumont was good enough to back up, and he's been good at the start of this third quarter, being played at centre half forward on Brown, and he's got a couple of possessions, a couple of key possessions already.
So 13-8 to 2-3 here. So Cooter on a wing basically with Pavlich at the moment, and Beaumont filling that centre half forward role. Houghton doing well, Plunkett doing very, very well. Kicks to half forward. Brown getting back, so he's starting to get heavily involved. Kicks out wide towards McPhee, and again good hands by this 18-year-old. 7 marks McPhee. He's kicked the only goals that the Dockers have scored so far today. Now forced to go, but he doesn't bother about that. He gets around Wiggins pretty easily, then centres the ball. Bandy's one of the targets there. Belt away at the back, down to Black. Black's little gift to Brown. Brown 48 metres out, controls the kick, but didn't have enough on it. And Camporelli able to cut across and take the mark in front of McManus. Plunkett, who we've talked a lot about today. He's on the rookie list. The Blues are going to work out a way to keep him, we reckon, in the main frame here. Beaumont having a terrific start to the second half. Good-looking kick to Mansfield. I say good-looking, just in the end didn't have quite the meterage. Longmuir cuts it off. to Carr in the centre. The Dockers to build something here.
Well, I think it's just that they appear as if their blood is starting to boil, the Dockers, and they're in this match. They know they're in this match, and they're in this match to the extent that they've got to put a score on the board. 2-3 is not enough, and Ugle can change that. He's got the football 40 metres from goal. Difficult angle. Deep in that forward pocket area, left forward pocket from a Fremantle Dockers point of view. But it'll be a good fillip for this young guy. He's had 8 possessions, and let's hope he can kick a goal for Fremantle. He gets good distance with the kick, and he may have just hooked it a little bit too much and scores a behind. Karen Ugle for Fremantle. So the Blues bench. A short kick taken by Koutafidis. Shares it with Christou, and gee, he drew the player, the opposition person, very well. They're caught here though. Houghton was able to get it away to Houlihan. He's got some space. Rather lazily, Beaumont gathers beautifully. He uses Wiggins. Wiggins in towards Silvani. That was good play. The young fella looked up. He could see the elder statesman leading, providing the target, and he honoured that with a good pass. And Silvani, who has kicked 2, has the chance to get his 3rd. It may be a little too far out for Stephen Silvani, but we'll wait and see the result. Gets good distance with the kick, and just off to the left. 12 kicks, 5 hand passes, 12 marks, and 2 goals, 4 now to Stephen Silvani. So getting a lot of the football at full forward, not quite converting from a goals point of view.
Walker got it in short from Black. So Walker to centre wing, and Longmuir the target. He's going to be a very good player, Longmuir. It's his 8th mark today. Short to Walker at centre half back. So the Dockers trying to build here with some method. Kicks to half forward. Cooks a target. Well done, Franchino at the back. Christie just dropped it forward. Taken by Hazelby. We've hardly seen him today. Left-hand handball was good to Fletcher. Has to go back to Walker. Nothing wrong with that. They set up again. Goes into Black. Normally a pretty good kick, Black. On the burst. He's had a fair bit of it. Black kicks to full forward. Rice sets himself. Belts it away. Front spot Houghton. Houghton's had a good game. And gives to Rice. And Rice kicks well, badly in the end, and Brown was able to just get in. Carr not good enough there. Well played, Camporelli to Lappin. Lappin over the back to Beaumont. You'd fancy him here. Pavlich had a fair bit of him, Beaumont. In the pocket. Can he bring it back? He does, but there's only the Dockers there, and Pavlich able to get it. Hooks it back towards Fletcher. Fletcher waits for the bounce. Lappin to provide some sort of opposition, and Fletcher just, disappointingly, I think, for him, runs it over the line.
Yes, and just struggling. He's had one of those dirty days, Fletcher, one of those days he'd much rather forget.
What about Paul Hazelby? Just 1 kick and 4 hand passes. Just looked a sensation last year, and just seems to have gone backwards.
It's always hard on your second year too, Robbo. I think that opposition coaches really study you and know your strengths and weaknesses. So he's going through a learning curve. He's going to be a great player, there's no doubt about that. So he's just going through a rough patch, and he'll come out the other end of it a better player, I'm sure.
71 points is the lead that the Blues enjoy. Koutafidis, Hickmott nearly able to take it away. Koutafidis' little tap to the advantage of Lappin. He in turn to Ratton. Ratton off the left, looks for Silvani, and in goes Lappin again. He'll make a living certainty of it this time. Lovely little left foot goal. 3 goals now to Matthew Lappin. He with Brett Ratton are the leading goal kickers for the Blues. Silvani has a couple, and Beaumont has 2.
Well, it was almost a game of volleyball then for the Carlton players in their forward line. That started off by Kuta, a smart little tap, and then of course Lappin, another smart tap out to Ratton, and then we see Silvani here, another tap. So 3 really smart. They didn't get any notice in the stats book, but very smart play by the Carlton forwards and unselfish play.
Lappin's fed off Silvani well today. Lappin's tap was almost a scoop, wasn't it? It was just a fine line, but probably the right call. So 14 goals to 2. Lappin with 3. Ratton getting the ball out of the centre. There's Lappin to Bradley. Little give back. So Christou up the ground to Ratton. He'll use Plunkett. Plunkett on his left foot. Silvani continuing to present. This time Jones beats him. That was better. Out wide. Longmuir, who was an inclusion today for Cunningham, who's dropped out. Longmuir's kick had too much on it for Pavlich. It's his brother, Justin. Kicks to McPhee and Wiggins, so that's a good sign by Britain. He's put Wiggins, another kid, on McPhee. Cook roved it well, kicks to full forward. Ugal the meat and the sandwich there, and Manton. He's had a good match down back.
Yeah, he's done his job. Hasn't had a big game stats-wise as Glenn Manton, only 3 kicks and 4 handballs, but he's done his job, kept Bandy out of the game.
And Shell, the full forward, also was without a kick in that opening half. Here's Ratton coming away, so the Blues again finding a lot of space. Houghton, he's got Fletcher way out, so not a good kick by Houghton. Disappointing, and Brown's got it some halfback. He goes out to Carr.
Yes, I think Trent Houghton probably thought he had the kicking skills of Scott Camperelli there, but you've got to do a little bit more work, I think, Trent, off that left boot. This is with Fletcher now between left half-back and left centre wing. Comes into the middle. Black, he's tried very hard. He's had the football 23 times. They go forward again, but that kick drops short. McManus's tackle on Mansfield ineffective. Camperelli, this is better. That's a much better kick by Camperelli. What we've become used to. Beaumont in towards the half-forward area. It was a long lead by Silvani. Dropped what he should have taken. Looks for Camperelli, finds him. Camperelli short is good, and Lapham has taken the mark about 40 metres from goal. There's no one in the square, so if the kick drops short, which it has, and gone through for a goal. 1 centimetre to the left of that right-hand goal post.
And well done, Matty Lappin. That's his 4th goal today, so he's provided a real foil up in that forward line, and you just can't help but admire the way they've worked the footy around. And Steve Silvani's just presented all the time. He's worked so hard, provided a real target for the Carlton players up the ground to kick to, and then when he hasn't made the most of it, he's kicked a little bit inaccurately today, but he's given the ball off to the other forwards, and Matty Lappin has been a real find for them up forward.
Almost up to the century, the Blues. And again, getting right on top after the Dockers kicked the opening goal, Ratton. It's just going to be hard to get best players for Carlton, isn't it? And not so hard for the Dockers today. Fletcher over the top, that's Adrian Fletcher, and a ball up.
Little tricky there, wasn't it? I mean, they were away from that centre bounce again. I think Mansfield maybe tried to do a little bit too much.
Yeah, they've fallen for that trap a couple of times today, Robbo, just overusing the footy a little bit too much, but you can understand sometimes with no pressure being applied how that can happen.
Brown over the top, just through the fingers of Mansfield. Hazelby tried to lay it off, then Mansfield, then Hazelby puts on a good tackle. Mansfield unable to really get it clear, and Fletcher cleverly releases McManus, who can go away here. He's at 50 metres, goes short to Bandy, good play Manton. Might have had a bit of a jumper, but he belted it to the line. Good defensive footy. McManus saying, hang on, did you see that?
He wasn't happy, was he, Sean McManus, but it was a good, really good spoil by Glenn Manton, giving away a number of centimetres to Daniel Bandy. Well spoiled.
He's done well, Manton. Hardly made, well, hasn't made an error really, but admittedly he hasn't been under much pressure. Rice to the line, and again a ball in. And
Lee Brown has been taken off Simon Beaumont. Beaumont getting a bit of the footy up forward, now being moved to full forward, so Brown's been moved off him.
i7sport.com.au, all sorts of things on the internet. You can book tickets for the big matches, and you can just check your ladder at the end of today and tonight if you log on.
Well, Merrington getting a chance to show his wares for the Blues in the ruck. This is Fletcher and Kickett. Fletcher, over the top was Cook. That was a little overzealous. The umpire saw that as all fair and above board. A little questionable.
And it's important now, Robbo, that Merrington does finish off the game well, because in the next few weeks, of course, we get Matthew Allen back into the side, the Carlton lineup. So it's important now that he puts his stamp on the game.
Freeborn, Houghton and Christou, I thought, was one of the other players warming the bench for the Blues. Camperelli using the ball a little better in this early part of the second half. He's got 2 possessions in that just area of the ground. Kicked it towards Beaumont. Parker there. Beaumont. Parker. Still Beaumont. And the hand pass was ineffective in the finish as the football was dragged over with those 2 players, and it will be thrown in the right forward pocket for Carlton. They lead 15-9 to 2-4. Fremantle have kicked 1 goal in this third term. The Blues have added 3. Parker, little hand pass to Black. Black goes over the top. Brown releases Longmuir. We have Justin Longmuir, who is the ruckman, and Troy Longmuir, the midfielder. Big punch from Manton. Gee, that was emphatic, wasn't it? McKay left it behind. Hazelby, gee, the frustrations that are being provided by the 6 players that represent the Carlton defence are enormous. Their opposition up the other end of the ground, when I say their teammates, have been quite productive in kicking 15-9, but that defence just works overtime. They've restricted Fremantle to just 2 goals for. Again, Merrington doing the ruck work. Plunkett gets a kick out of that area of the ground. It's taken here by Brown, runs down the ground and kicks with the left in towards the full forward area. Again, the defence of the Blues, lousy as ever. Manton, Houlihan, caught. Bandy is in under there. McPhee knocks it clear. Hazelby taken to the ground. Now Kudafides out to Hickmott, and the Blues are away from right half back.
Lappin playing pretty deep, kicking a couple of goals in this term. Out wide, Beaumont's had a good quarter. He's had a heap of the footy in this term. He's at centre wing, Beaumont. So he's had 6 kicks, Beaumont, and 5 marks. Kicks to half forward, a long lead from Silvani. Well played by Ratton. Sweeping handball. Releases Hickmott. Hickmott's at about 40. Does he centre? He does. Fletcher versus Kickett. It was not a great kick by Hickmott because they had all the numbers. Houlihan held on to. He's got a free player in Franchina. Hasn't gone to him. He's in trouble now. The handball to Fletcher. Well, the Dockers have weighed him out of it here, and it's out of bounds.
Houlihan just should have gone the first give. He went one way, went the other way, and just confused the other players as well as himself, and slipped over. As we can see, Ange Christo sitting on the bench, and that Carlton defence, as Robbo quite rightly said, has been miserly this afternoon.
So, Kuda doing a bit of the ruck work. Chasing hard is Mansfield. He too slips over. Did very well in the end. Clever play. And releases Franchina. Franchina goes forward into the centre half forward. Beaumont loads it up. No, he doesn't. I thought he could have had a shot. Lappin clever. He's a basketball player. And breaks the tackle and kicks his... kicks it behind. But boy, that was interesting. That was different, wasn't it?
You don't see many people bouncing, or footballers bouncing an oval ball like this.
The last bloke that did that was Darryl Baldock. He was a genius, Baldock, with the oval ball.
Yeah, it's a great play. Would have been one heck of a goal.
I think you might have got a little excited there, Bruce, if you'd adopt that. Well, the footballers with James Walker at right half back for Fremantle. He lobs it high in the air. No mark, but it was a great leap there by Longmuir, not able to control the football. Fletcher, as he was falling, fed the ball to Bradley. Bradley goes across the line. Chance there for Wiggins. Now McPhee. Longmuir, will it bounce for him? It does. He gets a good kick on it too. And he kicks the 3rd goal for Fremantle, and they did that very nicely in the finish. Justin Longmuir is the goal kicker. He with Adam McPhee, who has kicked 2, are the contributors goal-wise for Fremantle.
And well done, Justin Longmuir, but really, the Carlton side in that case, it was Bradley overusing the footy and went one handball too many when he should have kicked it long, and Justin Longmuir has had a pretty good game. He's come on the ground, he's had 4 kicks, 9 handballs, 8 marks, and also that goal.
So 3 goals to 2 in this quarter. The Blues on top, but the Dockers just getting a few things happening. Longmuir and McPhee, their goal scorers, their best 2 players today, you would think. Bradley just using Wiggins, and Wiggins unable to break the tackle. So Merrington's on the ball for the Blues. Ratton doing really well in the centre square to McKay. McKay's got players leading everywhere. Goes to Silvani. Brown playing loose down back almost. He's had a pretty good quarter. Uses Jones. Jones in trouble. Silvani puts him under the pump. Black doesn't take it first grab. They're in all sorts of trouble now. Parker. Well, Black takes it from Brown. Brown was waiting for it. Well done, Black. Sidestep was okay, gets outside 50 and then chips away to McPhee. Can't quite hold the mark. The ball's still at half forward. Pavlik's big strong body got rid of Houlihan. Stops and props, and then a shocking handball. That's awful footy. Ratton falls over. Black caught up on the tackle. And I reckon if you want to name a game, just don't get that 2 minutes. Cut that bit out.
No, keep that out. And once again, a number of players slipping over, and it's been a bit frustrating, Robbo.
Well, it is amazing, John, because you know, everything just modernises by the decade, you would think, and football boots, well, obviously they're short stops because these conditions we've had, you know, not a shocking winter here in Melbourne, but how players fall over when you've got the opportunity to use the right footwear. Manton goes wide and Freeborn is marked. Forward of the wing, looking maybe for Silvani, but decides to go long in the Koutafidis area. And if that was the easiest mark for the day, I'm not here.
Well, that was a very easy mark, and Lee Brown's a loose man in defence, and he's back there to stop that very thing happening. And Kuta just took that too easily. The ball took plenty of time to get in the forward line. The Dockers players had plenty of time to fill in those hot spots in front of goal there, and to take an uncontested mark like that was pretty ordinary.
Having a cup of tea, Brett Ratton and Andrew McKay, aren't they? Scones and coffee. As we watch Koutafidis go for the Blues' 16th goal, and he makes no mistake, the goal umpire does not move. Koutafidis has kicked 2, and the goal avalanche continues here at Optus Oval. Carlton, after kicking 9 goals in the first term, now lead at the 27-minute mark of the third quarter, 16-10, 106. Fremantle 3-4-22.
And Koutafidis has gone back to centre half forward and took that uncontested mark in the end. So it just looks worse and worse for the Fremantle Dockers.
So the margin 84 points. Biggest margin this year is 119. And that was the Blues over West Coast here in round 10. She ratting out of the centre again. I know he got the handball, but boy, he's having a game. Here's McKay. Wobbly old kick, but in the right direction to Silvani. Lap, and he's good on the left. Hardly ever misses. He did then. He's had a few shots. He's kicked 4-3. He's a very good player, though. He's getting better and better. Hands are good. 107-22. Okay, and there's just had a little look at the boots here.
Yeah,
they look short, don't they?
Well, they're all moulded these days. Very few players nowadays wear the old stops. You can see there they wear long moulded soles, so very few actually wear the old stops that are.
Well, they don't keep players that are trying to. I mean, you wonder whether it's going to contribute to any of the damage to the joints of the footballers, particularly in holding conditions and slippery conditions, John.
Well, and we've seen perhaps sometimes over in Perth a couple of players holding the positions too much or holding their feet too much and suffering knee injuries, but you haven't got that problem over here in Victoria, and it's just vital that you try and stay on your feet.
Well, we're watching Troy Cook for Fremantle trying to get out of that defensive half of the ground. Jones has taken the mark, running in support as Kickett. The bounce was very ordinary for Kickett. He's been well tackled by Houlihan, but he got the hand pass away to Carr. Carr's kick in towards half forward. Well done. Good mark. Taken there by Fletcher. He's too far out to score. He's got Cook from the left, Bandy from the left. Ignoring both. Bandy still providing a target, but Fletcher decides to go in towards Pavlich. Couldn't take the mark. McManus is there. He's trying to play for a free kick, and he's got it. He just dived forward to accentuate some sort of contact.
Kuta just can't believe that free kick, but he just didn't have possession of the footy, and Kuta grabbed him, so it was there, but McManus made sure the umpire saw it. As we see Adrian Hickmott now coming off the ground.
I think umpire Stephen Hanley there is indicating that he's penalised Koutafidis for grabbing hold of McManus when he didn't really have control of the ball. But it was an iffy free kick, and McManus now the opportunity to get Fremantle's 4th goal and become just the 3rd goal kicker for Freo this afternoon. He gets the kick a little bit to the left and does not capitalise. He kicks it behind Sean McManus, co-captain of the Dockers with Adrian Fletcher. So miserable scoreline, 3 goals, 5, 23. They're 84 points in arrears of the Blues, who are 16-11, 107.
Wiggins the target, and the Dockers have got some numbers around here. McKay onto it. He's going to have to break a couple of tackles. McPhee took him front on. Little give by Hazelby was okay. Ugle down low. Dockers just trying to build here. The Blues, Wiggins against all the odds, brings it to ground, ball up. Gee, McManus had a couple of shots for goal today. Remember that one to the left of screen where he missed the lot. There's Christou and Hickmott sitting it out.
Good effort by young Wiggins there in making the ball his prime object and not taking his eye off it. He was taken to the ground by the tackle, but he did get some acclamation from a couple of his teammates in the area.
Blood rule on Hazelby. taken second in the 99 draft behind Des Headland. In fact, it was the 99 draft, and same draft that Pavlich winning, so they got some good players there.
Bruce, you talked about Brett Ratton before. He's had 3 kicks and 7 handballs in this quarter. He's been very good out of the centre square.
Yeah, he's been terrific, Ratton, and 3 goals early in the match as well. Great start to the season. Probably been a bit flat in the last half a dozen weeks, but at one stage he was arguably the favourite for the Brownlow. And again, a ball up. So Carlton sitting on a huge lead here. Their incentive is to make sure that they continue to tick it over. It's 3/4 time. Carlton 84 points in front, because, John, percentage could be important in terms of a position in the top 4. We know that Richmond and Hawthorn have got similar numbers of wins, but they're about 20% below the Blues going in, and this is going to do a lot of good for their percentage. Yeah,
the Blues have a really healthy percentage, and this will only be enhanced after today's game, and they'll be pretty happy with that, and they went away with it again in their 3rd term. And the Fremantle Dockers, after a spirited fight back, or type of fight back in the 2nd quarter, really let themselves down again in that 3rd quarter. So the Blues will line up in that a big last quarter, you'd expect.
107-23 at 3/4 time here. It's Carlton 16-11, Fremantle 3-5. Start of the final term here at Optus. We saw Koutafidis going to the bench, so we just might check the blue bench and see who Wayne Britton's resting in the last quarter here. Black's little toe poke. McManus. Good handball on the up there, coming from Freeborn to Ratton to Plunkett. Plunkett to full forward. Silvani, good mark. He's taken 13 of them today.
You know, one of the most effective players in the game we've come to appreciate is Ratton. His vision and his ability to get a player. Like, there could be 2 or 3 players that he can get it to, but he picks the right one, doesn't he?
And he just waits for the handball. He doesn't give it away straight away, just waits for that player's got time to take it.
Silvani from the pocket. He's missed it, so he's kicked 2-5, Silvani. Not easy shots, so he's taken a lot of marks around the 50, hasn't he, and a few out deep. But his contribution has been significant. I would have thought that he's given at least 5 goals off today, and a couple to Lappin in particular. Here's Black from the goal square.
Black's kick will land the ball near the wing. Chance here for Merrington. Tries to tap it forward, but only as far as kick it. Fletcher is there. Merrington the tackler. So he did a good job to get back into the contest. James Walker's short kick is all right, and Bell has taken the mark for a Fremantle on centre wing. Hume trying to mind the mark. Oh, Bell just bounced straight off him. I think Darren Hume might be a little winded there too. And eventually Bell's kick onto the chest of Hazelby. It's interesting, isn't it, when you're the initiator, how you can come off second best.
A kicker pushed him into Peter Bell then, so he has got second best out of that particular contest.
Hit him right in the belly. Watch this.
Yeah, kicker just pushed him straight into him, and Bell just put his head down, and he came off second best to Darren Hume.
Well, there's a chance here. Rice, look at Bradley. He's just covered about 80 metres in that passage of play. Houlihan tries to get it back to Bradley, and again a player just slipping, his feet slipping from underneath him. Ryan Houlihan in that circumstance has held the ball up.
His second half stats would be down, Houlihan, wouldn't they? There's Darren Hume. Houlihan had a fantastic opening half, but he's been a bit too cute after half time.
Yeah, he just tried to do a little bit too much, as have a number of Carlton players.
Had the absolute stuffing knocked out of him. I think the football got. When Peter Bell had the football, I'm sure, you know, Darren Hume has crashed into him, and the whole thing has just taken the wind out of his sails. So he's warming the bench right now after starting there. And the Carlton coaching staff, well, they've got enough players here that are trying to just make a name for themselves. Players like Adrian Hickmott, I mean, he's perhaps a regular player in the lineup, but gee whiz, there's still 22 players to be selected each week, and young Wiggins and Fletcher, and they've got to use the ground time to their own advantage, and the teams, of course. Walker kicks the ball towards half forward. Good mark. Well done there by Pavlich out in front of Manton. And Matthew Pavlich will shoot from 50 metres on current trends. Well, he didn't try to shoot for goal. He passed it off to Black, and he is not that much closer.
It wasn't a good direct footy too from the Dockers. They had some real purpose about the way they went forward then, and a good strong lead too from Matthew Pavlich, providing a target similar to what Silvani has done for the Blues today.
Good stats to Heath Black, 27 possessions. Going for Fremantle's 4th goal from 50 metres. Gets onto it quite nicely, but when you're going ordinary, it just keeps going that way, and that kick has hit the post. So a couple of posters now for Fremantle in their score line of 3-6. The Blues 16-12. Mark is taken by Brown, looks to play on, and he's got the advantage of having Hazelby on his own with a bit of space in the pocket. He goes for goal, and he's kicked a goal, I think. It's a great kick by Paul Hazelby. Well, that's a little better, and they made it perhaps a little difficult, but Paul Hazelby was up to the task.
Yeah, and Brown taking a very strong mark and getting the ball back in quickly to Hazelby, and a good kick from the boundary line, and just as well he kicked it because he had a number of players in front of the goal square that were hollering for the ball, but a very skillful player, Paul Hazelby, and a good kick for goal.
So, like they did in the 3rd quarter, the Dockers get the opening goal to this term. So they get to 4-6 to 16-12. Camporelli out of the centre. Played a lot of the first half in the back line. Matched up there. Kicks to Merrington's taken a beauty. That's a good mark.
He's another player that comes into the mould of getting ground time and just keep pushing for selection week in, week out by impressing while he's on the ground.
Yeah, he's got an opportunity now, Robbo, and what better way to do it than to take a good, strong one-on-one mark like he has there, and that's a very good, skillful mark, that one-handed.
It's only his 3rd game, 2nd game this year. He kicked the goal last week. That was the only goal he's kicked in league footy. Looks close, coming back, might have got it. No, just misses. So right over the post, I reckon, there for Merrington. 16-13, 4-6. So Mansfield, we can see. We know Cooter's off and Hume's off for the Blues. Done well, Mansfield. Played 18 games last year, and many people thought he was probably at the end. And this year so far, 14 out of the 16 games. What's happened here? Down the ground?
Down the ground behind play.
So Walker and Merrington, I think it was.
So it's Bandy from centre wing.
And Bandy decides to kick the ball long, well inside the forward 50. That could be a free kick against young McPhee there, jumping a little early. Will the Blues be advantaged? No, that's going to have to come back where Houghton may be the recipient of the free kick, is he? And that's the way the umpire sees it. He goes out towards McKay. McKay is still in his defensive half of the ground. He's at right half back. And minding the mark is Walker. McKay decides to kick long, and standing his ground and marking for Fremantle is Carr. This is Matthew Carr, former St Kilda player. Probably saying that he's had a bit of good fortune perhaps now, although the Dockers haven't had much to smile about in their performances throughout the year. Camporelli's kick into the half-forward area, just come on the ground, hasn't he? Mansfield, we mentioned that he was on the bench just a moment or so ago. He's marked the ball forward of the wing, and he'll kick. Is that Fletcher making position back there?
Brown.
And Brown is marked.
Yes, Longmuir has gone forward at the start of this last quarter. Brown's gone into the ruck and dropping behind the footy when the ball goes into the Carlton forward line.
Brown plays on quickly and kicks the ball short to Carr. He in turn to Troy Longmuir. He just bombs away in towards the full forward area, and Pavlich again out in front of Manton. This time he's marked. Will he have a shot at goal? The previous mark was right on the 50-metre line. He gave it off to Black, who hit the post. Maybe Matthew Pavlich on this occasion will decide to kick for goal himself.
And Matthew Pavlich has looked good in this last quarter, lining up in the forward line for the Dockers. At the start of the game, he was centre half back, lined up on Anthony Koutafidis, but up forward, he just gives them a real target and has got a presence in that forward line.
So he'll have to kick the ball in excess of 50 metres. Two marks, and this is his 2nd kick so far in this term, going for Fremantle's 5th goal. He gets onto it. Gee, it's a good long kick. It's a beautiful kick. It's a goal. So much better there for Fremantle. Matthew Pavlich kicks his first goal. Fremantle get their 5th, and they've kicked the only 2 goals of the last term.
And Matthew Pavlich has been moved forward, and it's amazing the confidence it gives the players up the ground when they've got a good, strong target to kick to. And Matthew Pavlich, on 2 occasions in this last quarter, has led out from the goal square, really strongly presented himself and taken a good mark, and that was a good kick from centre-half forward.
First time today they've kicked consecutive goals, the Dockers, 16-13 to 5-6. Lee Brown's had a really good second half.
Yes, and he's moved into the centre of the ground, so trying to teach him a couple of things playing in the ruck.
He had an ordinary opening half and has done much better. So the Blues are a bit stuck here, sort of between a rock and a hard place. What do they do? I mean, they've had the game won since about the 10-minute mark of the first quarter, and suddenly they're paddling, aren't they?
Yeah, they are struggling a little bit. And a couple of positives for the Dockers. Pavlich, McPhee, obviously, Longmuir. There's a couple of players there that they can try and get something out of this game.
Well, Brown got all over the top of them there and belted it forward. Hayes will be good tackle by McKay, and then Cook did really well. Fletcher, here's a chance, a 3rd goal perhaps. Longmuir does and kicks it. Well, they've kicked the only 3 goals of the last quarter. I mean, it's way too late, but it's giving their faithful fans, and there's only a handful of them here, just something at least to smile about on this what's become pretty dreary afternoon in Melbourne.
Well, we probably saw a little bit of it creeping into the Carlton style of play after quarter time. They were probably using the footy a little bit too much and being a little bit tricky, and they've just taken the foot off the accelerator, and the Dockers have made the most of it, kicking 3 goals at the start of this last quarter.
3 goals to Fremantle in the opening 8 or 9 minutes of this term. Plunkett kicks it forward for Carlton, and the mark is taken by Bandy. Just a little bit of frustration setting in for the Blues fans as well. And you can hear the people just off to the left here in the John Elliott stand where we're covering this match from. Come on Blues, come on Blues. But nothing happening, and the Dockers have got the ball within 35 metres of their goal. I'll get another one. And this is kicked by the other Longmuir. That's Justin. He's kicked his 2nd. So 4 goals now for Fremantle in this term. They go on to 7-6-48. Carlton 16-13, 109. And this was perhaps a little too easy as well. It just came out nicely from Ugle, and Longmuir got it.
Yes, good play by Ugle, and the Dockers have been very good. And Steve Silvani's been taken off the ground to also sit on the interchange bench.
So Silvani off now with Koutafidis, Merrington coming on. Well, what a transformation. It's certainly not a healthy scoreboard, but at least 7 goals. They've doubled their score in the last quarter, the Dockers, and there's plenty of time left. So some urgency now about the Blues in that centre square bounce. Stephen Silvani, wonderful game. Just he should have kicked 6 or 7 goals in the end, but he certainly assisted in so many of them. So 13 marks, 13 kicks, plenty of handballs, and a few little tap-ons. 2 goals, 5 to Silvani. He'll probably sit it out now for the rest of the day. Hickmont did well. Camporelli arches his back. Does he get enough on it? He kicks to full forward. Gee, Lappin made a good contest, but at the back, just as good was Longmuir to Burl. And the Dockers are frustrating the Blues here. Cook rode the bump reasonably well, got it to McManus. Freeborn's bump was good because McPhee was on, and then McPhee held up there by Plunkett, and it'll be a boundary throw in.
Good effort by your 2 young fellas there. We've already sung the praises of Adam McPhee, but I thought the young boy Plunkett was okay too in that little contest.
Centre wing, Brown and Houghton. Brown doing really well after half-time in a number of positions. Freeborn just cleverly to Hickmont, had a good game. He's going to give off to Chris, who decided not to, and then kicks to half forward. Beaumont the target, over the top Jones and Bandy. They're much more confident they were earlier, aren't they? Gives it to Parker. Their decision-making's a lot better. Black's had a good game. To Carr, this is some positive footy. Takes them on and now can deliver and goes to full forward. Pavlich, their go-to man, got shoved out, gets a free kick.
Yep. Against Glenn Manton.
Yep. The Blues look ordinary suddenly, and the Dockers look okay.
If you thought they were short before the game and they've got Silvani and Koutafidis on the bench, they're shorter even now.
And you wonder what goes through the Carlton players' mindset. Till the start of this last quarter, they look at the interchange bench, and Anthony Koutafidis is sitting on there. They've obviously looking after a few of the senior players, and they've just taken the pedal off the foot off the accelerator. And the Dockers in this last quarter have just been playing really positive, attacking, direct football.
Well, Hawthorn next week and the Bombers a week after for the Blues. Perhaps they were looking ahead, but I mean, they're still going to have a good win. But what was going to be a massive win, unless they turn it around in a hurry, is being whittled away. Pavlich, we have a good look behind the goals. It's not going to come back, is it? No, it's a miss. But I think we're going to add him to the list of players that have done a bit today, because he certainly has stood up in this last quarter. 16-13 to 7-7. And Carlton have kicked 2 behinds in this quarter, and the Dockers have kicked 4-2.
Christou decides to go short into the left back pocket area, and Freeborn has marked. And he goes short to McKay. McKay into the middle, where Hickmott is on his own. He can give the hand pass to Mansfield. He shares it with Bradley. Bradley goes directly towards goal, and marking contest has been provided, was provided the Crummers with an opportunity, and in the finish, Houghton interferes with Longmuir back there, who has taken the free kick for Fremantle. He goes out wide to Walker. Walker's had a little bit of the ball as well, 19 possessions. Rather ordinary kick though, when you straighten up and steady and you've got a bit of time to deliver to the opposition, is not good. McKay taking the hand pass to Plunkett. Plunkett deep at half forward. Kicks and kicks too short. Longmuir has marked in front of Trent Houghton. Longmuir goes across the full back line. Brown for Fremantle. He's got McManus running, and he's decided to hang on to the football. He's nearly at a standstill. Now kicks and kicks to Hickmott. He couldn't take the mark. McManus able to give the opportunity to Fletcher. He's able to just shrug any attempted tackle from Franchina, and McManus just looks back as if to say, well, you know, nothing much coming of that. Taking the ball over, and it will be thrown in at right half forward for Freo. So 19, the biggest winning margin, 69 points. It's 60 points exactly at the moment for the Blues as Camporelli runs away from Cook. Camporelli into the middle, good mark taken by Plunkett in front of his face. Looks to move it on, gets it back to Hickmott. Hickmott kicks out wide where Kickett had made reasonable position, and he's going to provide a contest for Houlihan. Handball, oh, well done by Kickett. Fletcher not able to shrug the tackle first chance, but had another crack at it and got away, and then kicked it to Lappin, who was marked 50 metres from goal. Is that 50? No. Always when that happens, you watch to see if maybe the umpire thought it was a little late, but didn't give the favour there to Lappin. He goes across the half-forward line, and the mark is taken by Merrington. And John just done enough, hasn't he, to suggest that he's, you know, with a bit more experience, he's going to be some sort of a player in this caper?
Yeah, he shows a bit. He's had only had 3 kicks and 3 handballs, taken 4 marks, but he does show a bit, does Andrew Merrington, and he knew then he was a lot taller than Peter Bell and ran forward and took that height advantage and made the most of it.
Brown going off the ground for Fremantle as Merrington kicks for goal, and as he popped it through for a goal, no, it's hit the post. So nothing happening for Andrew Merrington in his 2 opportunities that he's had in this last term, just 2 behinds against his name.
Black just signalling off to his left, but decides to go with a torpedo. He's got onto it pretty well. He's kicked it right to the centre. Freeborn, it's a tough player, pushes forward. Ratton was good there. He just gave Camporelli the path, and then Bowman on his wrong side to the pocket. Lappin and Longmuir, they've had a good duel in this last quarter. Troy Longmuir's done well back there. 20th possession for Walker to Carr to McPhee. McPhee's handball to Fletcher, goes back to Carr. Carr will go long now and try and get it all the way to Pavlich. Can't get that far. Mansfield chipped in. Funny old handball, the idea right, but the execution pretty ordinary, and now he's in trouble. McManus over the top, had to go back. Pavlich's handball, gave it up to Plunkett. Plunkett's had 19 kicks and plenty of handballs. He held it up, his vision was terrific. Christou on the burst, goes towards Houghton. Houghton gets rid of Bandy, cleverly should play on, does. Has Hickmott at the top of the square, does he go to him? Well, I'm not sure whether he went to him or went for the goal.
Well, it was almost half and half, Bruce. I think he made a decision to go for goal, then thought maybe I'll give it to Hickmott, and didn't do either in the end.
And another behind. So 4 points to the Blues, 4-2 to the Dockers. And Carlton are pretty keen to get a goal, don't you? They don't want to go through this last quarter without a goal, as the target is Cook, and not quite.
Well, play on, said the umpire. The Dockers fans wouldn't have been happy with that, I wouldn't have thought. Camporelli is able to kick the ball forward. No mark. Where are the Crummers? It's Houlihan, and he's missed as well. 1-1 to Ryan Houlihan. 2 goals to Koutafidis and Beaumont. 2 goals to Silvani. Ratner's kicked 3. The leading goal kicker for the Blues is Matthew Lappin with 4. Parker to bring it back. The Blues led by 84 points at 3/4 time. The Dockers have got it back to 62 after kicking 4 goals in this last term. Lappin's handball okay to Bradley. Bradley giving it back a little bit further from goal, but they retain possession through Merrington. Big punch away there by Jones, close to the boundary line. Hickmott and Longmuir. And the umpire will throw it in right in front of the Social Club. Plenty to cheer about for the Blues in the first term. They kicked 9-3 to a point. It was 79-9 at half-time. The Blues led by 70. As I said, they led by 84 at 3/4 time. But it has been a pretty good performance. Oh, what about that, Bradley? Plunkett had kicked the goal, but Bradley was terrific again. His mind, his football brain, just his absolute wisdom. And the young and the old there, isn't it? Bradley, about 37, this young fella trying to make a name for himself.
Yes, and also Beaumont here was superb. He really seized on the opportunity to pick the footy up, and Bradley was so good. He just drew his opponent to him and just waited to the handball and fired it out to Jimmy Plunkett, and Plunkett has been fantastic. 20 kicks and 9 handballs to Jimmy Plunkett.
I think they needed that, didn't they? They just wanted to get a goal at least in the last quarter.
I agree with you there, Bruce, yeah.
Bradley and Beaumont setting it up for Plunkett, who's, well, he's going to get close to the votes, I reckon, without putting any pressure on you, John. It's all up to you, and there's plenty of good players. Certainly in the first half for the Blues, and in that third quarter they were pretty good too. The ball's coming back here. It's against Mansfield, is it? And going to, no, against Camporelli and going to Parker.
Too high onto Parker.
So Black to Carr. Carr's had a reasonable game. Played every game but one this year, so he's been not a bad pickup. Kicks to centre half forward, and they were outnumbered, but Longmuir made such a contest that Cook was able to get it, load it up and kick a goal. Well, they're doing well, the Dockers. They're starting to find a way home, and they've kicked 5 goals in the last quarter after managing just 1 in the first half and 3 to 3/4 time.
That's the advantage of getting the ball down quick, is that Longmuir really made a contest there at centre half forward, and Cook was smart enough to position himself front and square to get the crumbs, and a really good long kick for goal, Troy Cook.
Gee, I've never heard a bloke actually stand up here and call himself in a footy match, have you?
I was going to say, while the Longmuirs are playing league football, Johnny Longmire's still got a chance to add to his goal tally. Well, Franchina takes the ball away from the centre bounce, and Fletcher has taken the mark, looks to play on and does. Gee, Franchina broke the tackle. He's another player in the mould of getting ground time. He's kicking towards full forward, has been marked by Lappin, and here's a chance, Bruce, for something that you've been waiting for all day, as Matthew Lappin prepares to kick his 5th goal and Carlton's 18th.
Go on, Robbo.
No, I'll leave it to you, Bruce. I couldn't possibly steal your thunder because you told us off air that Matthew Lappin, well, he's been a live wire, hasn't he? He's had 16 kicks, 9 hand passes, 10 marks. His 4 goals, 3 could quite easily have been 5 or 6 by now. But he's about to kick his 5th goal, and I think he's missed, hasn't he? Has he missed? No, sure, it's a goal. So Lappin has now kicked 5 for the Blues, and Ratton with 3, Silvani, Beaumont and Koutafidis with 2 each.
Well, I reckon it's the first time a Blue this year's kicked 5 in a match. Any Carlton player, and I'm just about certain of that. But Whitnell's got 4. Lappin had got 4 against the Saints before this. But the first time the Carlton players kicked 5. And he is their leading goal kicker. He's over 30 goals now, so he's having a good season. Would you call him a small forward, he's a medium forward.
He's a medium forward who's very good overhead and on the ground, so he's so hard to match up on because he's good in those both those areas of the ground.
Good kick by Franchina to set it up for him.
So Carlton have gritted their teeth a bit, haven't they, in the last couple of minutes? But the good thing for the Dockers is they've kept going forward. Jones has kicked. That's a good mark, Rice. That's a hard mark. Floating ball. Hard to orientate a mark like that. Well, Plunkett's got a lot of faith in him there, Ratton. The ball may come to the back. Parker, Franchina, like the little terrier that he is. Isn't it a big job to do today? McManus goes back to Cook. Back to Carr. Not much of a kick. Now Bell, quiet day, sweeps it wide. Fletcher, another quiet day, could kick a goal. He's 15 metres out. Good looking kick. They've got another one.
He went over the line with the ball.
He's taking that in, Hazelby.
Ran it over Hazelby. So it's a behind. Gee, Fletcher looks upset. Well, the ball bounced backwards, didn't it?
Now listen, that was a 4's odd chance that went down, Bruce.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, have a look at this. Going through, then Hazelby has to grab it, and of course he's run over the line with the footy. Gee, you can be stiff. That end of the ground had a bit of excitement late in the game last week, but that one wasn't quite so exciting. Remember when Green just snapped that one after the fumble? But anyway, it's 18-16 to 8-8. The Blues sitting on a huge lead at the moment. Ratton through the centre.
Gee, the certainty gone down, wasn't it? Ratton's kicking towards full forward. Lappin couldn't take the mark. Beaumont, just a little fumble there by Hickmott, which is not quite the norm for the Blues. They've been quite sure all over the field with their ball handling. And eventually it's Houghton who will shoot for goal. So after Fremantle had added 5 goals, the Blues have got a couple back in the last 5 minutes. Houghton to add to the Blues goal tally. No, he misses to the left. Kicks are behind. That's his second score in this match. He's now kicked 2 behinds, of course, and Dale Kickett being attended to by one of the medical staff. Kick goes in. Oh, well done, Carr. And a little too tall. Camporelli was probably a little bit more aware of the player rather than the ball, and Carr over the top took the mark. And slipping again was Ugle. Hand pass by Plunkett was okay. Ratton picks another good option there. Houghton in towards the half-forward area. Lappin couldn't take it, but he's down there where the football is. Now they're in a little bit of trouble. No, Houlihan. Ratton, look at that vision. Out to Mansfield. Not a lot of time. May mess it up. No, he's got some support. It came from Rice, and Rice's kick is onto the chest of Lappin.
Oh, that was well done by Brett Ratton. He could have blazed away, kicked the ball towards goal, which 9 out of 10 footballers would have done, just blazed away, and the Dockers would have run it down. But he had just had that perfect vision. You caught it well, Robbo. Just at the corner of his eye, he caught a glimpse of Nicky Mansfield and flipped it out that way. It was just really good vision, good football of Brett Ratton.
Hard to compare anyone to Williams, isn't it? I mean, Greg Williams was enormous off both sides of his body, but gee, Ratton is a tremendous player. Lappin has kicked 6. The Blues get their 20th goal, and their 19th goal actually, after Lappin has kicked his 6th. 19-17-131. It blows out to 75 points. Fremantle 8-8-56.
It's just been important the last 10 minutes for Carlton, because the Dockers had a real go that 20 minutes at the start of that last term, and they've just managed to kick back and kick a couple of goals to put a smile, or keep a smile on Wayne Britton's face, because it's always better to finish a game on a positive note, and now the Carlton side will be a little bit happier the way they finished off this quarter.
If the score stayed at this, it would be their biggest win ever over the Dockers. We saw that stat earlier, 69 points back in '99. So they lead by 75 after leading by 84 at three-quarter time, and suddenly they have really found a way home, haven't they? Houghton going. Could Lappin get a 7th? He got a bit of a shove. Mark Pay, though, down back to Hadrill. Hadrill, just his second game off the rookie list, like his mate in Ugle today. The kick out wide only as far as Franchina. So the Blues have set themselves up for a couple of big weeks against Hawthorn and also against the Bombers. Ratton in the pocket, Siren about to go. So Ratton 3 goals, all of them in the first half. He'll have a shot right on the Siren here. In fact, it'll probably go before he kicks the footy. It does, and then he's, oh boy, he heard it late. So that's it. So he has a smile. So Carlton, they did enough. Fremantle was shocking in the opening term, and then they got better as the game went on. But Carlton have won by 75 points, and it's a good win for them. They just hit a bit of a stumble in the last 2 weeks with the Swans and also Melbourne beating them when they went in as hot favourites. And the Dockers, well, they've now lost 16 matches this year, 17 when you include the last round last year. And you do wonder if they're going to go through the season without a win.
Yes, and they didn't get too many positives. A couple of the younger players played reasonably well today, Bruce.
Yep, that's right. Richard Osborne's down there, and he's got Matthew Lapp.
Yeah, thanks, Bruce. I was just thinking what a funny game it was. 9 goals to 0 in the first quarter. I thought we were almost going to see a record score, but to the credit of the Dockers, they hang in there. But yourself, 6 goals. You did some pretty exciting things today. You would have been happy with your own performance.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I missed a few sitters, but the boys played really well up the ground, so you know, it enabled some good clean footy to come in. We worked out our front 6 a bit better this week because we've got a bit of pressure on up there without Whitnell and Favola and a few others. But you know, the Dockers, they fought it out hard and they kept fighting. And to their credit, it was, you know, they didn't let us blow it out on them, which was a good game.
And Steve Silvani also up forward. He was a fantastic target, whether it was kicking goals or giving off to a teammate in a better position. He just keeps going, doesn't he? Just evergreen.
Yeah, he's terrific. I reckon he probably would have had a hand in the first 6 goals that we had. You know, whether he was kicking them himself or handballing them, but you know, it's a terrific effort for him. And you know, Simon Bowman's 100th game, the boys are carrying him off now. And you know, it's just really good to win milestone games because it's important for those players.
Well, thanks for your time, Matty. Terrific game. Enjoy the win.
Thanks.
Good on you, Richard. Richard Osborne, yes, there's Beaumont going off. 15,622 is the smallest crowd this year at Optus. The only other time under 20 was when they played West Coast and got 19,000 in around 10. But good win. It's interesting. They're not going as well as they were last year, the Blues. I reckon a fortnight ago, John, we were saying they are the dangers to the Bombers. Now we're having second thoughts, aren't we?
Yeah, it'd be fair enough to say that at the moment the Lions are probably taken over that mantle. And this game against Fremantle probably couldn't have come along at a better time to just run the Blues back into a bit of form.
Yeah, good win. He can't knock a 75-point win under any circumstance. They set up Hume, interesting. Hardly saw any field time today. He's been a good player for them this year.
Well, I think that what they've done is obviously given a few of the younger ones, a few of these fellas that are trying to make a name for themselves, give them a bit more ground time, and their confidence grows. I mean, if you're going to win a game by a big margin, and blokes like Plunkett and young Wiggins, who had a little bit of ground time, Merrington, I thought was okay. Just give these fellas a little bit further taste of what it's all about. I know the pressure wasn't anywhere near as what you'd expect in a final or a big game like against the Bombers or the Pies or the Tigers or Brisbane, etc. But certainly a chance for them to just put them under the microscope.
It's going to be interesting to see if they can get Allen back in time for the Bombers in a fortnight, or even Hawthorn, because Houghton tried hard, but when Longmuir went in there, he got on top of him, didn't he? There'll be a weakness in their ruck unless they can get a Porter or an Allen back pretty soon.
Oh, they badly need a key position player, a ruckman, a true ruckman in the true sense of the word, back in their lineup if they're going to give a real shake at the end of the season, because whilst Houghton did compete hard and was good early, Longmuir, when he moved into that area, really played well.
So here's the song, the Blues by 75 points.
We are the old dark navy blues. We're the only team old Carlton knows. We're old champions. They like to send us. We'll keep our ends up, and they will know that